Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Naruto Awakens Haki at the start. Chapter 1. The World of Hokage, Konoha Village, the back mountain, the tall trees straight into the clouds, look lush at a glance. The brilliance of the setting sun fell into the open space of the back mountain, a quiet and elegant atmosphere. But in this quiet and peaceful environment, a young figure was out of tune with this place. I saw him put his hands on his chest and switch back and forth, as if he was using some kind of seal. Clone technique. Puff. After a cloud of white smoke emerged, another young figure appeared. Body replacement technique. The seal of the young figure changed again, and another burst of white smoke came out, which was replaced by a piece of wood. Successful. 3-body technique has already been a preliminary master. As long as you train more, you can do better. This young figure is a child who looks about 7 or 8 years old, and his name is Yi Chen. Yi Chen had a slightly contented smile on his face, as well as a touch of maturity that did not belong to this age group. He has been in this world for several years. This is a ninja world. There are 5 countries, 5 ninja villages and all kinds of strange ninjutsu. That's right, this is the world of Hokage. Although Yi Chen likes this anime, he also fantasized about learning ninjutsu in it to be cool and play a handsome character. For example, how many floors can a bag of rice carry? Spicy Tianjong, night guy. But when you really travel to this world, you will find the cruelty of this world. Yi Chen's timeline is not in the timeline of Naruto, the son of plains, but earlier. At this moment, a few years after second Hokage's death, third generation has not been awarded the title of Dr. Ninjutsu, the legendary Sannin has not yet made his name in the world, Golden Flash is still studying at ninja school, the Hyuga brothers have just graduated from ninja school, and there are many, many more. Today's timeline, if I'm not mistaken, should be about a year or 2 before the Second Ninja World War, which of course has not yet begun. But maybe today, maybe tomorrow, Yi Chen couldn't remember the time so clearly. Once a war occurs, a little ninja like himself is just cannon fodder. Today's Konoha is seriously lacking in the backbone after the second Hokage's death, and the surrounding shinobi villages are eyeing them, and there are disputes from time to time. Why is Yi Chen said to be cannon fodder? Regardless of strength, the first is identity. In addition to the 5 major ninja villages in the ninja world, there are actually many small ninja villages. Yi Chen's ninja village is such an existence. Unfortunately, 3 months ago due to resource disputes, the entire village was almost wiped out, and only a few survived. He was almost seriously injured at the time, but fortunately, the Konoha village ninja rescued him in time and saved his life. After that, in order to settle them, Konoha village set aside a special area for refugees from other villages in one corner of the village. Because Yi Chen was found to have ninja talent, he was able to enter the ninja academy to study, which is a very lucky thing. It's just that Yi Chen knew that if he came out to hang out, he would have to pay it back sooner or later. Konoha taught herself that she just wanted to wait for the war to start, so that other village ninjas like herself would go to the front line as soon as possible to throw their heads in blood for Konoha. In an age like this, it's not surprising that teenagers go to war. That's why Yi Chen feels that he is a cannon fodder, and the background is not mentioned. And I don't have any awesome bloodline limits. The ninja talent can only be regarded as ordinary, not the waste material. Since entering Konoha Academy, Yi Chen has been training hard, selfless training, and never stop, in order to survive in the troubled times. Forget it, don't want to continue training. Seeing that the twilight has not yet dissipated, Yi Chen shook his head and said. He walked to a wooden stake, and there was an obvious dent on the upper end of the stake. That was his countless side kicks, countless times with his fists hammering, bit by bit abruptly. The talent is average and can only be made up with hard work. Since he has passed through and relived his life, he still doesn't want to die so easily, at least he needs to be brilliant. Looking at the bandages on his hands and feet, Yi Chen took a deep breath and kicked it out, landing in the groove of the stake. 1, 2, 35. Sweat poured down like rain, and soon, a strong feeling of exhaustion and fatigue came over the body, especially the ankles, which gradually began to aches, soreness, and distending pain. But Yi Chen didn't stop, and continued with gritted teeth. In this place where it was almost dark and no one was around, Yoruichi Yu was working hard to improve his physical fitness. Half an hour was enough, and he felt that his legs were about to fail, so Yi Chen stopped and took a break. Then stood up and continued training, but this time it was the arms, he said to himself. 1,000 punches, 1,000 uppercuts, 500 elbows. Call. Yi Chen collapsed on the grass, completely exhausted physically and mentally, without any strength. He looked up at the sky. At this time, the sky has been given, and the stars are shining, and the beauty is unbelievable. Such a beauty, if it weren't for the troubled times. Yi Chen laughed. Ding, the detection host has trained himself to half-death, the spirit of the system has a feeling, the god-level pirate treasure chest system is bound. Binding is successful, congratulations to host for becoming the master of the god-level big pirate system. When we meet for the first time, we will be rewarded with a big gift package, please sign for it. Quote question mark question mark question mark quote. Yi Chen, after thinking about life for a moment, a slightly hoarse voice mixed with joy slowly spit out. Sign up, PFF'd. A golden treasure chest suddenly appeared out of thin air, and it was suspended in midair quietly, motionless. This kind of scene is very similar to the scene of breaking through the level and completing the final mission. Yi Chen suddenly sat up from the grass, forgetting the pain in his body. Excited, all this was not an illusion, he reached out his hand tremblingly and opened the golden treasure chest. A burst of white light suddenly bloomed, and he couldn't help covering his eyes. After the light dissipated, a golden card was suspended in the treasure chest. Conqueror's Haki Comprehension Card. This card allows the host to comprehend Conqueror's Haki, whether to use it immediately. A simple introduction appeared in Yi Chen's mind. Although it was only a few words, he couldn't hide his excitement. He replied with trembling lips, yes. After he finished speaking, the golden card trembled for a while, turning into a shimmering light and blending into his eyebrows. In an instant, all kinds of mysteries about Conqueror's Haki, armed color, conquerors, and seeing and hearing color all surfaced in his heart. It's an amazing feeling. It's like a Daigo empowerment to realize a new kind of knowledge. I don't know how long it took. Yi Chen's body shuddered, and he slowly withdrew from Haki's comprehension, his eyes showing a still unfinished look. It's incredible that I actually realized Conqueror's Haki. Yi Chen said to himself. Conqueror's Haki is a special training system in the world of One Piece, and the mastery of training is no weaker than the ninjutsu in this world. It is understandable to understand the color of armed and the color of seeing and hearing, but it is unexpected that conquerors can also comprehend through the card. You know, conquerors is known as the one of a kind Haki, and Mori who has this kind of Haki has the spirit of a king. Could it be that he has the aura of a king? It took Yi Chen one night to understand the so-called god-level pirate treasure chest system. According to the system description, the purpose of this system is to cultivate the strongest One Piece in history. But this is the world of Hokage, isn't the style of painting wrong? The use of this god-level treasure chest system is also very simple and rude, and it will randomly spawn treasure chests in different locations. As long as the host opens the treasure box, he can get the items in the pirate world from the treasure box. These items could be Haki comprehension cards from last night, or weapon cards, character cards, anything and everything. Of course, some ordinary items may also be opened. Anyway, every time you open a treasure box, it is a test of character. Yi Chen brought up the system panel. Host, Yi Chen. Abilities. Conqueror's Haki LV1, Observation Haki LV1, Armament Haki LV1, it takes 100 experience points to upgrade to the next level. Experience points, 5 100ths. Quote, the information on this attribute panel is only about his pirate abilities, and does not include ninjutsu. As for the way to obtain experience points, it does not specify what to do. According to what the system said, even if you breathe by yourself, you can add experience points, but it's just how fast the experience points increase. Regarding how to quickly increase the experience value, Yi Chen is also initially exploring. Now that he has obtained Conqueror's Haki, Yi Chen has a bit of confidence to survive in this dangerous world. In the early morning, before dawn, Yi Chen ran around Konoha village. He didn't let himself go by getting cheat. A strong person cannot be achieved in a day or two. Cheat is only a support. The most important thing is to have a strong heart and self-discipline. Konoha village at this time is very quiet, heavenly. The moon has not disappeared, and the stars can still be seen. During the run, Yi Chen also met a strange person. He was dressed in tight green tracksuits and had a watermelon hairstyle with occasional highlights on the top of his head. Familiar, really familiar. But Yi Chen didn't remember who he was for a while. The man also smiled at himself, grinning, his teeth gleaming in stirrups. After training, Yi Chen returned to his residence, a simple log cabin. Find a stake, and then take out the kunai to continue training the shuriken technique. I don't know if it was because of the awakening of Haki, Yi Chen felt that his shuriken throwing accuracy had improved a lot, and he hit the bullseye every time. After the kunai training, Yi Chen took a bath in cold water, put on fresh and clean clothes, and then sat down for a simple breakfast to prepare for school. His peers are basically taken care of by their parents, and war orphans like him can only support themselves. In ordinary life, only Konoha provides supplies and maintains a normal standard of living. After breakfast, I picked up the ninja kit, closed the door and walked towards the ninja school. Ninja school is an institution founded by second Hokage to nurture ninjas. At this time, it has only been about 10 years since the appearance of the ninja school, so many places are far from being as perfect as when the original plot happened. During this period, the Senju clan had just begun to decline, and Hyuga could only stand on the sidelines now. It is not the number one Konoha clan in the future, and it is clearly as famous as Sharingan. But in the hands of the Hyuga family, they are all used for acupuncture and perspective, and the development is really a failure. But even so, for the two big families, Yi Chen could only look aside for the time being, and he didn't have the capital to be on an equal footing with others. Yi Chen. At the gate of the ninja school, a cordial and hearty voice came. Yi Chen looked up and saw a blonde-haired, handsome young man approaching. Namikaze Minato, the genius of ninja school. It is said that he, who is still in school, already has the strength of Chunin and can graduate from ninja school at any time. To be honest, Yi Chen has always been alone and has nothing to do with Namikaze Minato. Moreover, he is from the outer village, but he is often discriminated against and despised by students of the same grade. Namikaze Minato was probably the only one willing to talk to him. Facing the friendly purpose of this future fourth generation, Yi Chen nodded slightly and said, "Hello." Then, he walked towards the ninja school. Along the way, I met many classmates, and many of them pointed at him, saying that he was a weirdo. Namikaze Minato stood on the spot, scratching his head, and laughed dumbly. "It's really cold." "Minato, why are you courting this fool?" From behind, 3 more people came, with different shapes. "Tsukahisa, Dingza, Yamanaka, you are here." Minato turned his head to see the person coming, and couldn't help but say, "These 3 are the first generation of Ino Shikacho, the backbone of the future Konoha village." "Minato, I don't understand why you are so obsessed with this guy," Yamanaka asked. "He's a hard worker." Namikaze Minato sighed. "What do you mean?" Kakashi said. "It's nothing, let's go to class." "If we don't go, we'll be late," said Namikaze Minato. So the 4 slowly walked towards the school, as if a small group had already developed. In the ninja classroom, before the instructor came, there was a lot of noise. Yi Chen sat in the back row, there was nothing around him, no one wanted to approach him, and he was rarely free. Before the teacher came, Yi Chen closed his eyes and recalled 3 body technique, shuriken technique, and conqueror's haki. At the same time, the attribute panel was called up, and the experience value had changed from 5 100ths to 20 100ths. I recalled everything in the morning. Adding 15 points of experience in a short period of time is more than one night. Yi Chen was enlightened and thought, "It seems that exercise can also increase experience points, so I can't let go of this training." The classroom suddenly became quiet, and it turned out that the ninja instructor had entered the classroom. The instructor glanced at everyone in the classroom with a serious expression, and then slowly said, "Classmates, before the start of today's ninjutsu class, the first thing to announce is that we have a new classmate in our class. She is from our allied country, the country of Vortex, and the village of Vortex Tide. Let us welcome her arrival." When the words fell, there was a burst of applause in the classroom, and everyone looked excited. New classmate, the kingdom of Vortex, wouldn't it be? Yi Chen couldn't help thinking. The next moment, a young figure slowly appeared at the door of the classroom. This is a girl who looks very cute, with big and bright eyes, about 7 or 8 years old, wearing a long pale yellow dress, and has bright red hair. There was a burst of exclamations in the ninja classroom, because there are too few red hair in this era. Hello everyone, my name is Uzumaki Kushina, please give me more advice in the future. Kushina said cautiously. Glancing at the entire class, out of the corner of the eye glanced at the boy in the back corner of the classroom, his pupils contracted slightly. Everyone has heard about Kushina's introduction. I hope you will get along well in the future. Kushina, find a seat and sit down. The ninja teacher said, a smile appeared on that unsmiling face. Kushina glanced at the classroom. The classroom space was indeed very empty, but the front row was already full of people, and there was no seat left for her. After a little tangle, Kushina walked towards the last row of the class. Seeing the cold boy in the corner, he asked timidly, "Hello, can I sit here?" Yi Chen glanced at Kushina calmly, didn't speak, just moved slowly to make a space. Seeing this, Kushina breathed a sigh of relief and sat gently on the stool. Before coming to Konoha, the elders in the clan had given orders. Konoha is the big tree of the Uzumaki clan, and when you come here, you must keep a low profile and not cause trouble. Okay, let's continue the class now. After the last class, we will continue to talk about how chakra is formed. Students open the books, ninja teacher said. After finishing speaking, the students in the classroom took out their textbooks and started class. Chakra is an energy created by the body's mastery of the perfect fusion of its components. It is the energy source for performing ninjutsu, illusion, taijutsu, or making strings to bind opponents or cut off substances that are also composed of chakra. Quote, I have a question for my classmates, who knows how chakra is constructed? Asked the ninja teacher. The classmates in the class, you and I took a look, but did not take the initiative to answer. Teacher, I know. At this time, a confident voice sounded, and it was Namikaze Minato who spoke. Minato-san, please speak, said the ninja teacher. The main components of body chakra are the physical energy that our body absorbs one by one, and the spiritual energy that has been exercised through many practices and accumulated experiences. The combination of the two forces is chakra. Namikaze Minato replied. Yes, it's a very good talk. Sit down, Minato-san, said the ninja teacher. There was a small exclamation in the class, and the girls looked at Namikaze Minato's sunny face, each blushing and heartbeat. The boys showed a little hostility. After all, the most disliked by children of this age is the same gender who is better than themselves. Ninja teacher shook his head gently, then motioned everyone to be quiet, and continued the lecture. Yi Chen turned a blind eye to this scene, was not affected by these external factors, and continued to listen to the teacher's class. Although these contents are repetitive and have been understood and integrated, each time I listen to them, I have a different understanding. That, however, when he was listening to the class seriously, a timid girl's voice sounded from his ear. Yi Chen was puzzled, turned his head slightly, and saw that Kushina seemed to have something indescribable, his face flushed and his eyes flickered. Is something wrong? Yi Chen asked with a cold attitude. Fine. Kushina hurriedly waved her hand, looking nervous, and added. I haven't received the book yet, can you lend it to me? Hearing this, Yi Chen thought for a while, then took out a thick ninjutsu textbook from the ninja bag and handed it to Kushina, and said coldly. Give it to me when you're done. Kushina took over the book and felt a bit square. It was so easy to borrow it, and it felt like a dream. Isn't it said that children in big villages like Konoha village are very arrogant and difficult to get along with? Don't you read it? Kushina saw that Yi Chen gave the book to himself, but there was no book in front of him. I have a brain, Yi Chen said coldly. What? Kushina was stunned, but then reacted immediately. Does he mean that he has no brains? The second personality roared wildly in his heart, complaining about this cold-hearted kid with a paralyzed face. What the hell? People say that they are the princesses of the Uzumaki clan, However, she remembered the words of the elders in the clan. After coming to Konoha village, she must keep a low profile and not cause trouble. In order to avoid the worries of the elders in the clan, Kushina will never be angry with Yi Chen, and be a good girl. Time is very fast at ninja school, and the day goes by quickly. In addition to theoretical classes, there are also practical practice classes, which are enough for one day. When school was over, Yi Chen was about to go home at the gate of the ninja school, but saw Namikaze Minato approaching. He showed a healing smile and said, Yi Chen, there's a new restaurant, Yil Ramen, in the village, do you want to eat together? After Yi Chen heard this, his face was strange. Isn't Ichiraku Ramen Uzumaki Naruto's favorite food? I didn't expect it to exist at this time. But after thinking about it, I still have to train, so I refused. Thank you, I still have something to do. Haha. Namikaze Minato couldn't help but let out an embarrassed smile. Yi Chen nodded slightly, then left directly. Minato, let your hot face stick to your cold ass. What a hassle, Nara Shikahisa said, resting her arms behind her head. Crack. Akamaiki Dingza kept filling his mouth with a packet of snacks. I can't say that, I really want to befriend Yi Chen. Namikaze Minato said. Then the three of them went to the newly opened isekai ramen together. When the sun sets, Konoha village looks a little quiet and peaceful, and the yellow halo shines on the ground, putting a light makeup on the village. The pirate treasure box system randomly creates treasure boxes, but I haven't encountered a treasure box yet. Walking on the silent street, Yi Chen thought about his own system. But he didn't force it. Even if there is only Conqueror's Haki, if he cultivates Conqueror's Haki to the top, he can still become the top powerhouse in this world. Marine Vice Admiral Garp, just an ordinary person, no devil fruit bonus, only practice Haki. When he cultivated Armament Haki and Observation Haki to the top, didn't he press the red dog to the ground with a hammer and chase One Piece Roger all over the world? Don't panic even in the face of 4 Emperors Whitebeard. Why is your hair red? Whirlpool Village, haven't heard of it at all. Maybe it's a small village. The red-haired child is not a freak. One after another arrogant and domineering voice broke Yi Chen's thinking. Yi Chen frowned, raised his eyelids, and looked forward, just at the corner of the street. 2 boys and a girl surrounded a girl, talking trash and having a bad attitude. The girl is Kushina, who just transferred from school today. It seems that school bullying incidents are not uncommon in any world. Kushina's eyes were dodging, and being forced by the 3 children, she looked particularly helpless. What a nasty red hair, let's cut it. The girl suggested, and actually took out a pair of scissors. The girl looked at Kushina with a hint of jealousy in her eyes. Hua Tian, this is not good. The 2 boys said involuntarily. What are you afraid of? My cousin is a genius of the Uchiha clan. I'm Kabuto when something happened. The girl Hinata said arrogantly. After he finished speaking, he took the scissors and cut it towards Kushina's hair. Do not come. Tears welled up in Kushina's eyes. It seemed that the elders in the clan were right. The children in Konoha village were really arrogant. In this comparison, my roommate today is still better. The girl Hinata's eyes are a little distorted, full of desire to destroy beautiful things, but she is about to cut Kushina's hair. A strong hand grabbed her arm, immobilizing her. This hand is not much bigger than hers, but it is full of calluses, especially with some scars on the hand. Hua Tian was angry in his heart, raised his head, just met Yi Chen's cold eyes, couldn't help trembling in his heart, and said in a panic. Who are you? You're doing it wrong, Yi Chen said coldly. Who are you? The 2 passer-by boys couldn't help showing anger when they saw Huatian being held by Yi Chen's arm. They all wanted to show their heroic side in front of Huatian, and they stepped forward one after another, showing bad looks. It's him. Kushina looked at Yi Chen in disbelief, but didn't expect this cold guy to save him. After Hua Tian lost his mind at first, he gradually calmed down, suddenly shook off Yi Chen's hand, and said proudly. What's up with you? Mind your own business and fight with you. After speaking, the 2 boys clenched their fists and walked forward with a grinning smile. They felt that Yi Chen could be solved with the advantage of more people, and they beat him up. Yi Chen shook his head slightly, his body flashed, and he simply kicked one of them and kicked them directly. Ding, EXP plus 10. Ding, EXP plus 10. Why talk about things that can be solved with hands? Whoops. The 2 passers-by boys fell to the ground, covering their stomachs with pained faces. Yi Chen had a strange look on his face, and beating people also increased his experience points. Looking at the 2 boys who fell to the ground, Yi Chen had a strange thought in his heart, so he raised his foot to make up for the 2 of them. Ding, EXP plus 5. Ding, EXP plus 5. It's really feasible. Yi Chen's eyes lit up, so he stepped on it a few more times. Ding, EXP +3. Experience +2. ... For a time, the two passers-by directly became experience packs, and they were constantly brushed by Yi Chen and ruthlessly trampled on. Fortunately, there is no one around at the moment, otherwise such a discordant scene is really annoying. However, stepping on people is not unlimited to gain experience. After contributing about 50 experience points in total, no matter how Yi Chen steps on, the system will never remind you to generate experience points. It's amazing. Kushina's big bright eyes showed a strange color, but the method was cruel. But still very happy, such scum should be tortured like this. On the ground, the two dragons were suspicious of life, their noses were blue and their faces were swollen. They surrendered early. Why were they still beaten? Are you a ninja? Let me tell you, my cousin is Uchiha Yu. If you bully me, my cousin will never let you go. Hua Tian saw that Yi Chen's skills were so sharp and cruel and ruthless. Suddenly frightened, he quickly moved out of his backer. Get out. Yi Chen spit out a word coldly. You. Hua Tian showed a look of shame and anger, which made her even more uncomfortable than hitting her, but she still ran away in despair. But she kept Yi Chen in her heart, she would never forget this hatred. She wants to teach Yi Chen a lesson from her cousin Uchiha Yu, who is a genius of the Uchiha clan and also goes to ninja school. PFF. After Huation and the two dragon sets left, a burst of white smoke came out, and a bronze treasure box popped out directly. However, except Yi Chen, no one could discover the existence of the treasure chest. Are you accepting the treasure chest? The system said. Yes. After Yi Chen received the treasure box, he didn't open it immediately because Kushina was still in front of him. Thank you, Kushina said gratefully, clasping her hands tightly on her chest. Yeah, Yi Chen responded, glanced at Kushina lightly, turned around and left. Kushina didn't expect Yi Chen to be so straightforward, and felt a little annoyed, but worried that what happened just now would happen again. She mustered up her courage and said, "That, classmate, can I go with you?" Yi Chen paused, looked back at the timid girl, and said, "You're scared, Kushina nodded heavily. "Where is your home?" Yi Chen asked. "In the compound east of the village." Kushina replied. "I'll take you back," Yi Chen said. "Thank you." Kushina looked grateful and emotional. "Let's go." Yi Chen glanced and walked forward, and Kushina immediately followed. Two young shadows walk on the wide street, and the picture gradually freezes under the setting sun and dusk. After walking for about half an hour, Yi Chen and Kushina came to an old attic tiled house. All objects here have a symbol, the symbol of the Senju clan. Kushina lives here, and although she is surprised, she can still figure it out. Because first Hokage Senju Hashirama's wife is the princess of the Uzumaki clan. Although Senju Hashirama died young, his wife Uzumaki Mito was still alive. Longevity and resilience are the hallmarks of the Uzumaki clan. Now that Kushina has moved to Konoha, she has an extraordinary position and naturally lives with the wife of Senju Hashirama. I said, "Thank you," Kushina said. "Well, I'm leaving too." Yi Chen turned around and left without hesitation. "By the way, sorry, I never asked your name." Kushina suddenly remembered something and asked loudly. "Yi Chen, the night of the night sky, the Chen of the stars." Yi Chen said, without looking back. "Yi Chen, I remember you." A bright smile appeared on Kushina's little face, and then jumped up and down happily towards the yard. After the two disappeared, not long after, in the shadow of the street, a ninja wearing a white mask and black tights appeared silently, and then silently disappeared into the darkness, as if it had never appeared. Yi Chen didn't go home directly, the sky hadn't gone completely dark yet, and he took advantage of the time before dusk to run around Konoha village again to exercise. Facts have proved that a strong physique is also extremely important for ninjas. While running, Yi Chen thought. In fact, when he and Kushina went home, he already felt that someone was following him. This is the magic of observation haki. Although it is only one level at present, it has greatly improved his sixth sense. But the stalker is not malicious. Is it Anbu? Yi Chen thought to himself. Of course, it was naturally impossible for Anbu to follow him, but to protect the future Nine-Tails Jinchuriki Uzumaki Kushina. Even if he doesn't take action today, that Anbu will come out to stop the bullying children. After returning to his own room, Yi Chen couldn't wait to retrieve the treasure chest after closing the door, and was looking forward to the items he opened this time. "Do you want to open the treasure chest?" the system said. "Yes," Yi Chen said without hesitation, with a firm expression on his face. Poof! A burst of white smoke appeared out of thin air in front of me, and a bronze treasure chest appeared. Yi Chen slowly opened the treasure chest, his hands trembling a little, looking forward to seeing something good. After the treasure chest was fully opened, only a white card was quietly suspended there. Yi Chen picked up the card, and at the same time a message was sent to his mind. Skill: Tornado Comprehension Card. The user can protect the body by waving his arms to roll up the dragon-shaped airflow, forming an absolute defense, whether to learn or not. Yes, Yi Chen Kaido. After the words fell, the skill card turned into a white light and merged into his body, and all kinds of tornado mysteries were integrated into his mind. Properties Panel. Host: Yi Chen. Abilities: Conqueror's Haki LV1, Observation Haki LV1, Armament Haki LV1, Tornado Profound Truth LV1. 100 experience points are required to upgrade to the next level. Experience points: 75 100ths. Quote: "At this time, there is another Tornado Profound Truth in the ability column." Yi Chen knows the origin of this skill. It is a defensive move created by Zoro in One Piece world. It is mainly used to deal with special situations where there is no knife in hand. You must know that if a swordsman does not have a knife in his hand, his strength will be greatly reduced. A tornado is a special technique of waving the arm to raise the airflow to defend the body. Simple and practical. Of course, the value of the treasure chest this time is still far from Conqueror's Haki, but it is better to talk about it than nothing. After a simple wash, Yi Chen put on clean clothes and sat cross-legged on the bed to start meditating. Meditation is a way of practice taught by the ninja school, which can make people's mental focus and enter a state of ecstasy. Chakra is extracted from the combination of spiritual meditation and physical exercise. The amount of chakra is also the standard for judging the strength of a ninja. Both are jonin, the amount of chakra determines the strength of the two. For example, Namikaze Minato has no blood limit and no background, but his chakra amount is very large, even comparable to the shoulder-tailed beast. There is also Raikage saved by Cloud Shinobi, which is called a human-tailed beast. This is related to the way of cultivation and the utilization rate of physical development. In the final analysis, the human body needs exercise. Exercise stimulates potential, activates every cell in the body, and allows every cell to generate energy. I don't know if it was because of the awakening of Conqueror's Haki, Yi Chen obviously felt that the efficiency of his chakra extraction was much improved than before. Through observation Haki, he can even feel the flow of chakra in his blood vessels and meridians, flowing to the whole body and mind along the limbs and bones, which is a very wonderful feeling. After a night of silence, before dawn, Yi Chen woke up and walked to the open space at the door to start training. He didn't hit a wooden stake that was thick, even hundreds of times, without stopping for a moment, and his whole body was dripping with sweat. Armed color. After a silent recitation, I saw that Yi Chen's fist surface was suddenly covered with a layer of black, with the wrist as the dividing point. The fist turned completely black, just like iron body. Under the blessing of armed color, Yi Chen felt his power doubled at this moment. Drink. With a loud shout, the punch with the armed color directly pierced the thick wooden stake. Crack. A hole appeared in the middle of the stake. Yi Chen looked at his hand in disbelief. Was this his strength just now? I'm afraid even Genin can't do this scene with his physical strength. The armed color disappears automatically. This is not controlled by Yi Chen, but can only appear for so long. Yi Chen activated his armed color again. His fist was covered with a black layer again, and it disappeared automatically after about 20 seconds. During this process, his chakra was also a little less, but it was nothing compared to the cost of releasing a C-rank ninjutsu. Through armament Haki training, chakra will be consumed by stimulating armament, but the duration of armament is not related to the amount of chakra, but to the level. At present, the armed color can last for about 30 seconds, and it will disappear after the time is up. Chakra needs to be consumed to activate again, because the consumption of chakra is less than the release of ninjutsu. To a certain extent, this is very beneficial to Yi Chen, and it is also his advantage. Yi Chen was emotional. and after experimenting a few more armed colors, he practiced the tornado mysticism again. I saw him half squatting on a horse, his arms gently waving in the air, posing a mysterious trajectory. If you look closely at this track, you will find that the shape of this track is actually a dragon shape. The speed of the arm swing is getting faster and faster, and the sound of dragon roar can be heard faintly. It can be seen with the naked eye that with Yi Chen as the center, air currents are flying around him, and the blades of grass are flying. When the speed reached ultimate, Yi Chen seemed to be standing in the center of the tornado, and there was even a phantom dragon coiling around Yi Chen in the air. However, this is only a defensive move and does not have offensive power. After practicing for a while, Yi Chen stopped to rest for a while. Experience points are full, you can upgrade. A system prompt sounded in my mind. Click on the system panel. The experience value is already 100/100ths at this time. Basically the experience value is increasing all the time, the only difference is the speed. At present, Conqueror's Haki and Mystic Tornado are both LV1, but experience can only improve one physical fitness. After weighing the left and right for a while, Yi Chen still raised the experience value to Observation Haki. According to the current situation, if you upgrade Conquerors, it is absolutely impossible to stun people with the current strength of Conquerors. Upgrade Armament Haki, increase some defense and attack power, the effect is not great. But seeing, hearing, and feeling are different, it can be understood as a potential investment. The first is the effect of Observation Haki, which is initially a strong sense of the power of the surrounding atmosphere, which can sense the enemy outside the line of sight or further predict the opponent's action. Advanced Observation Haki is able to listen to the voice of all things, predict the future, and read minds. Yi Chen felt that upgrading his knowledge could improve his perception, mainly to deal with unknown dangers. After all, there are too many potential threats in the ninja world. Strength alone is useless, if you are overcast, then hehe. For example, Uchiha Madara, who was stunned in the later period, has not been touched by the feeling. If it can be perceived in advance, the ending of the ninja world is estimated to change. With this in mind, Yi Chen upgraded Observation Haki, and said in his heart, "System, upgrade Observation Haki." Ding! Update successed. Yi Chen sat cross-legged on the ground. Observation Haki was upgraded from LV1 to LV2, a mysterious feeling filled his heart. How to describe it? It is that the whole world becomes clearer in one's own senses. When you get close, you can hear all kinds of insects and birds, and even the sound of the wind. Rustle. Who? Yi Chen suddenly opened his eyes, and with a slap in the palm of his hand, the ninja bag Kuwu was instantly held in his hand. He stared at the back of a thick tree that hugged not far away. Although it was still dark and there were still trees covering it, he was sure that there was someone there. This is Observation Haki, a pair of invisible eyes that perceive the world. Yi Chen-kun, it's me. After 2 or 3 breaths, a timid voice came from behind the tree, followed by a young and pitiful figure. Kushina. Yi Chen's expression changed when he saw the person who came, and he was not allowed to take away the kunai in his hand. How did you get here, and how did you find this place? Looking at the timid girl in front of him, Yi Chen asked with a grim expression. In order to thank you for helping me out yesterday, I specially prepared a lunch box for you. After speaking, Kushina took out the pink bento box hidden behind her back, and her little face was full of anticipation. Seeing this, Yi Chen's expression softened a little. It's not that he is sensitive and ruthless, but that a sense of precarious crisis always fills his heart. If he is really a child, he is heartless and heartless every day. The key is that he has an adult soul, and no ninja named Yi Chen will live to the end in the future timeline. So Yi Chen in this period was very depressed, even lonely. If it were another traverser, it is estimated that he would have found a chance to hug the protagonist's thigh. Although my own timeline is a little earlier, Namikaze Minato is also a protagonist in the early stage. He can't walk sideways with him. But Yi Chen understands that if you go with the protagonist, first of all you have to die. It's no use if life is not tough. Staying with the protagonist is not a trivial matter for 3 days, but a major event for 5 days, and all kinds of disasters come one after another. So in the end Yi Chen chose to believe in himself. The stronger he is, the harder his life is. Kushina saw Yi Chen's expressionless face, standing there motionless, at a loss for a while. Thanks. Put it there. Yi Chen pointed to the broken table outside the log cabin. Aha. Kushina nodded heavily and happily put the bento on the table. After putting it away, he stood there again, looking at Yi Chen expectantly. Yi Chen didn't care about Kushina. It was dawn, the sky was still dark, and there was still at least an hour and a half before the start of the ninja school. He was exercising by himself, with a layer of sandbags wrapped around his palms and legs, and he kept hammering the stakes. 100 strokes, 200 strokes, 500 strokes, as if tirelessly, sweating like rain. Even the grooves of the stakes were stained with scarlet bloodline, not to mention the white gauze, which was already stained with blood. But Yi Chen is still working out hard, perhaps because of the awakening of Conqueror's Haki. During the doomed exercise, he could feel that his physical fitness was slowly increasing. It's that your physique is enhanced invisibly. It's an experience you've never had before without Conqueror's Haki. No wonder characters like Garp in the One Piece world are not only at the peak of Haki's cultivation, but their physical fitness is terrifying. He remembered that in the original book, Garp specially trained his Iron Fist to deal with the big pirate Green Pepper. How did the Iron Fist train? Using the mountains as the unit of measurement. In order to exercise the power of his Iron Fist, Garp blasted dozens of mountains with his fists. The physical ability of this animal is really needless to say. About an hour later, a corner of the rising sun was already visible on the horizon. Yi Chen stopped slowly, took a deep breath of the morning air, turned his head and saw that Kushina was still standing there motionless, and couldn't help but wonder. Didn't you leave? Why are you still here? At this moment, Kushina's face was pale. I don't know if it was because of Yi Chen's devil training or because of the low temperature in the morning. Her young body trembled slightly, she rubbed her hands in front of her chest, and exhaled hot air from her mouth, saying, "You haven't eaten the bento yet, so I didn't leave and stayed here." "Oh, so that's the case. Sorry, I'm too devoted to training," Yi Chen said. Although the tone was an apology, Kushina felt that Yi Chen had no sincerity to apologize at all. Although I really want to complain about Yi Chen, Kushina still forgave this cold guy after seeing that this guy helped him out yesterday, with a warm smile on the surface. "It's alright, Yi Chen-kun. The bento should still be hot, so hurry up and eat it." "Okay, I see. You go to school quickly," Yi Chen said. "This guy just wants to drive this princess away." Kushina's second personality roared, still showing a warm smile on the surface, and said gently, "It's alright, I can wait for Yi Chen-kun to be with me, just drop by." "Whatever." Yi Chen said something indifferently, then walked to the table, opened the bento, and hot steam overflowed from the lunch box. "It's sushi, or beef flame, fragrant. Think about it, this should be the most decent breakfast you have ever eaten in this world." But in order to save time, Yi Chen opened his mouth directly under Kushina's incredible gaze, then poured the whole box of sushi into his mouth, chewed it a few times, and swallowed it directly. "It tastes good," Yi Chen said lightly. "Then go straight into the house, prepare to shower, change clothes, and go to school." Quote question mark question mark question mark quote. At this moment, Kushina's face was full of question marks. She finally understood what it means to devour, but the key is that Yi Chen also said that the taste is good. Did he taste it? ... On the way to school, Yi Chen was wearing a neat black jacket, with black hair showing off freely, and his dark pupils as deep as stars. Kushina followed, looking at the handsome and delicate Yi Chen in front of him. It was difficult to connect with the boy who was cultivating hard before. Especially the devoured style of painting is completely different from the current Shaoqingshin and gentleman. Speechless all the way, Yi Chen is not the kind of person who takes the initiative to speak. But Kushina is not. She belongs to the kind of girl with a more lively personality. If you don't talk all the time, you will be depressed. "That Yi Chen-kun, have you been practicing so hard all the time?" Kushina asked. "Yeah," Yi Chen responded. "Has Yi Chen-kun always lived alone?" Kushina asked again. Yi Chen-kun is amazing. Yi Chen-kun, do you like flowers?" At the end of the day, Kushina was extremely depressed, even autistic. Talking to Yi Chen, it is estimated that he can be mad at himself. Fortunately, someone broke the embarrassment. "Morning, Yi-kun." A hearty and friendly voice came. Yi Chen didn't look back, he knew it was Namikaze Minato by the sound. Because of the entire ninja school, no one except Minato was willing to say hello to the children in his outer village. The background of this era is like this, unanimously to the outside world. Fortunately, Konoha village was the one who rescued him at the beginning. If he had left Ninja Village, he would have been silenced long ago. Morning. Yi Chen said one word in response to Namikaze Minato. Minato heard the words, the smile on his face was even warmer, he noticed Kushina beside him, and said. This is a new classmate, my name is Namikaze Minato, please give me more advice. Hello. At this time, Kushina's mood was still relatively depressed, all because of Yi Chen's anger. Seeing Namikaze Minato also lacked interest. Yakun, aren't you provoking someone from the Uchiha family? Namikaze Minato asked. No, Yi Chen replied, but I heard that Uchiha was looking for you everywhere, threatening to teach you a lesson, Namikaze Minato said. That name sounds familiar, Kushina said. Yi Chen stopped, looked at Namikaze Minato, and said word by word. If you want to fight, fight. After talking about the tricks of chakra extraction, the ninja teacher announced that he would practice ninja combat this afternoon. The so-called ninja practice is the free time for classmates to discuss. Everyone can choose an opponent with similar strength to their own for training, so that they can increase their actual combat experience through training and become a qualified ninja. Everyone was very excited about the ninja combat practice and looked forward to the arrival of the actual combat class in the afternoon. Yi Chen felt the malice in the dark. When he was in class in the morning, he felt a very strong gaze looking at him. It was a student who was about 2 years older than himself, with a proud face, a hairstyle similar to that of a hedgehog, and the conspicuous red, Pu Fan, logo of the younger generation in the clothes. Its identity is naturally ready to be revealed, a member of the Uchiha family, Uchiha month. Now this time period is some time before the Second Ninja World War, and the mechanism of the ninja school is not as perfect as the later generations. Most of the students in the upper and lower grades take classes in one class and practice together. And because war can break out at any time, current ninjas can apply for graduation in advance, and then take a new step, such as joining Anbu. Anbu is a direct line of Hokage, and the students of the ninja school are proud to join Anbu. To future generations Hatake Kakashi, Uchiha Itachi, Tenzo, basically Anbu was born. There is also a type of class, where some jonin will select ninja school graduates to teach and take on various tasks to hone. In the original book, Namikaze Minato should be the second type, worshipping Jiraiya as a teacher, honing in the Second Ninja World War, and then shining brightly in the Third Ninja World War, leaving the name of Golden Flash. Yi Chen-kun, are you alright? Kushina, who was sitting beside him, asked involuntarily. Even if she didn't come to Konoha village for a long time, she could realize that Yi Chen was in trouble, and it was because of herself. At first glance, that Uchiha month looks like a senior, and his strength should not be weak, Yi Chen will probably suffer. Don't worry, Yi Chen said calmly. Although he has been cautious since he came to this world, he will not back down when faced with challenges. Since you dare to stumble, you must pay a certain price for your actions. And now they have Conqueror's Haki, even if it is the Uchiha clan, what malice will be crushed. At the beginning of the actual combat class in the afternoon, the ninja teacher came to the classroom. After saying a few words, he took all the students out of the classroom and came to the playground. Then, the ninja teacher started to read a long arranged list in his hand, and the students came forward one by one to start the test. The shuriken and kunai that everyone used were unexploited items. Although it was more difficult to cause fatal injuries, it was still impossible to completely avoid bloodshed. Teacher, I want to challenge Yi Chen-kun. Just like when the battle class was going on, Uchiha Yu stepped out of the crowd with a proud face. Hearing this, the ninja teacher frowned and said, you are a year older than Yi Chen and entered the ninja school a year earlier. Does such a challenge make sense? At this moment, the students in the entire class couldn't help but look over. Although Uchiha month is not as talented as Namikaze Minato, she is very popular. But it's not much worse, and with Sharingan, the pupil technique is close by, and the overall strength has reached the level of genin. Yi Chen has only been in Konoha village for 3 months, so how could he be Uchiha Yu's opponent? Obviously bullying people, For a while, there is a lot of discussion. Many students have different expressions, some laughing, some watching the fun, some pity, and some expressionless. This era is cold-blooded, and so are the people of this era. Although they are only at the age of children, but their identities are ninjas, they are destined not to be regarded as ordinary children. Isn't this bullying? Kushina ran to the front and shouted. Yi-chen, it's okay if you don't agree, you just hide behind the woman, you don't deserve to be a ninja. Uchiha Yu mocked. Enough, the ninja teacher shouted, his eyes fixed on Yi-chen, and he said. Yi-chen, this is a free practical class, the teacher respects your choice. Yi-chen stepped forward with a calm expression and said, thank you, teacher, but I'll take this challenge. Have you made up your mind? The ninja teacher looked strangely at Yi-chen again, but found that the child was very calm from beginning to end. It's just a pity that the mad dogs of the Uchiha family have no idea who they catch and bite. Although the courage is commendable, once the decision is made, although there will be no life and death, at least it will be severely injured. This Uchiha month is clearly coming with malice. Yeah, Yi-chen nodded. Yi-chen, Kushina said worriedly, with faint tears in her eyes. But Uchiha showed a smug smile. The students automatically stepped back, leaving an open space for the two to duel. The ninja teacher said with a blank face, remember, this is just an actual combat experience, click on it. Start. The moment the words fell, Uchiha Yu flipped his hands, and directly took out 2 stacks of shuriken, and threw them at Yi-chen suddenly. Whoosh! In an instant, the 8 shuriken seemed to turn into black afterimages, 4 of which locked Yi-chen's body, and the other 4 blocked Yi-chen's escape route. With Sharingan's assistance, just by throwing this shuriken, the Uchiha family can be said to be the most bells and whistles in the entire Konoha village. Facing the flying 8 shurikens, Yi-chen clenched his fists, his eyes flashed with light, turned slightly sideways, bent his arms, and hammered his fists in the direction where the 8 shurikens flew. Is he crazy? I actually used my fist to take over the shuriken. Seeing this scene, all the students suddenly widened their eyes. Even Namikaze Minato has a strange look on his face. Faced with this kind of attack, it's best to get away with the body flicker technique, or get away with the body replacement technique. Humph! Yi-chen turned a blind eye to the expressions of these people. Since there is no way to hide, why hide? It's a punch. Being too big. Uchiha Yu didn't expect Yi-chen to be so brainless. He really came from Shaonin village, and he didn't have any knowledge. Armed color. With a silent recitation, Yi-chen's body was small, and when the shuriken was about to attack, he punched out. Armament Haki wraps the surface of the punch, and suddenly the strength and defense of the whole body skyrocket. Clang! There was a sound of metal clashing. Yi-chen blasted out with Armament Haki, and the shuriken was directly blown away by the supreme punch. Armament Haki is complete. Even a mountain can be leveled. What is a mere shuriken? Those 8 shuriken were directly smashed and fell to the ground powerless, and some were even broken, bent, and cracked. But it didn't hurt Yi-chen in the slightest. This is impossible. How can an ordinary fist stop the shuriken's attack? Yi-chen used ninjutsu, but what kind of ninjutsu is that? I didn't see his seal. There was an uproar in the audience, and all the students almost stared out of their eyes, stunned and incredulous. Even the ninja teacher has an incredible look on his face. Although these shuriken did not have a sharp edge, if they were thrown under human power and then connected with a fist made of flesh and blood, their skin would definitely be ripped apart. Especially the tender skin of children. But Yi-chen has nothing at all, which is incredible. In fact, the use of Armament Haki is only a momentary thing, and there are very few people present who can discover the truth. Namikaze Minato was obviously not on the list, and he was keenly aware of the change in the moment Yi-chen punched. From the analysis of the crack marks on the surface of the shuriken, it can be judged how amazing the power of Yi-chen's fist at that moment. It's hard to imagine what that punch would do to someone. There are students from the Hyuga clan in the crowd, and you can see the boundaries of the bloodline with their eyes. Through the flow of chakra, the meridians run, and the muscle strength expands. You can feel that Yi-chen's whole body strength suddenly presents an amazing explosive output at the moment of punching. What kind of power is that? The students of the Hyuga clan thought. As for Uchiha Yu, she was even more surprised. She looked unbelievable, not to mention shocked. Great. Yi-chen-kun, teach this arrogant fool a lesson. Kushina applauded Yi Chen. Uchiha Yu's face was ugly, and she said angrily, "Do you think you can beat me with a little strange ability? Arrogant guy, let you know the strength of the Uchiha family." After speaking, Uchiha Yu was not afraid at all, and once again took out a kunai and used it as a weapon. A black Guyu appeared in the pair of scarlet pupils. This is a Guyu Sharingan. Awakening Sharingan at this age is already a genius. Sharingan. Yi Chen didn't dare to be careless, and silently took out a kunai from the ninja bag. "In front of my eyes, all your taijutsu and ninjutsu are just a joke." Uchiha Yu gave a wicked laugh, and then his body turned into a sharp arrow and rushed down, holding Kuwu in his hand, and his moves were fierce and fierce. Yigoyu Sharingan already has the ability to see through some physical arts, that is, to find out the opponent's flaws. He was confident that he had completely abused Yi Chen with his physical skills, and stomped him hard. Yi Chen also rushed over and used armament haki again, but this time it was not covering his fist, but on the surface of kunai. "Go to hell," Uchiha yelled frantically in his heart, sick and twisted. Yi Chen is not chaotic in the face of danger, he forces him to be strong, and opens observation haki. Time and space seem to stagnate at this moment, and everything flows very slowly. Uchiha Moon's invulnerable attack is caught by observation haki. Yi Chen was almost blessed with a soul, and it was incredible that he avoided the attack of Uchiha Month. And backhand waving the kunai wrapped in armament haki. Clang! A tremendous force was transmitted from kunai to Uchiha's arm. The powerful force directly knocked kunai out of his hands and lifted his body. Light is stronger than power, and there is armament haki for body protection. Yi Chen, his peer, can't stab anyone at all. Uchiha Yu fell to the ground and lay on the ground like a dog eating shit. It was extremely ugly. In just one round, he was knocked to the ground. Uchiha Yu's face was lost, but no one expected Yi Chen's fighting talent to be so outstanding. To be able to fight against the Sharingan of the Uchiha family, who has the ability to see through all physical skills, is really surprising. The same is true for the ninja teacher. In his impression, Yi Chen is a very ordinary student with average talent, but today's performance was so outstanding that he never dreamed of it. "Good fight," Kushina cheered heartlessly, ignoring Uchiha Yu's shit-eating expression. The evasion at that moment seems to be a coincidence, but it is the most perfect attack. It's really a powerful combat intuition. Namikaze Minato's face was solemn. He didn't think it was a coincidence that Yi Chen escaped Sharingan's lock attack. The Uchiha family cannot be humiliated. Uchiha Yu stood up suddenly. His hand that had just held kunai was shaking, it was shaken by armament haki. But he still held back the pain, made marks on his hands, and shouted, "Fire style, great fireball technique." Taking a breath of air, his belly became huge, and his mouth bulged like a toad. Pooh! A huge fireball with a width of 2 or 3 feet, the temperature of the entire playground suddenly increased, and it was extremely hot. Seeing this scene, all the students were horrified. The great fireball technique was AC level ninjutsu, and it was a ninjutsu that only Chunin could perform. Ninjutsu levels are divided into S, A, B, C, D, E. E-level ninjutsu is 3-body technique, ninja school level. D-rank ninjutsu is genin level, while C-rank is a ninjutsu that can only be performed by Chunin. Uchiha Yu is still studying at the ninja school, and she can actually perform C-level ninjutsu. Of course, this does not mean that Uchiha Month has the strength of Chunin. After performing this ninjutsu, he basically has no extra chakra, and he is waiting to die on the battlefield. But here is the school. Uchiha Month is not worried about his own safety at all. As for Yi Chen, he was just a refugee from another village, so what if he was burned to death? His Uchiha clan is so tyrannical. This fool, ninja teacher did not expect that Uchiha Yu would actually use C-level ninjutsu, and it was too late to take action now. Yi Chen-kun. Kushina looked worried, tears flashing in her eyes. If something happens to Yi Chen, she will definitely avenge it. A huge fireball roared, and the scorching temperature made waves of heat appear in the air. Being attacked by such a move, the skin will be peeled off without death. Do you hide? Yi Chen thought to himself. Even so, he still looked calm and the sky was falling. With his speed, he can dodge. But he didn't want to pause, he just didn't want to hide. What about C-rank ninjutsu? In everyone's eyes, Yi Chen made a move that surprised everyone. He slightly bowed his shoes, pulled them apart like a bowstring, his arms were bent, and his fists were clenched. What is he going to do? Face the C-rank ninjutsu? Is he crazy? All kinds of discussions are constantly being heard. Call. Taking a deep breath, Yi Chen's pupils suddenly widened, and he roared in his heart. Armed color, fully open. Drink. Afterwards, a lunge hit the great fireball technique with one punch. Ha ha ha, ignorant. It's too showy to resist the great fireball technique with a physical body. Uchiha-yu mocked. But at the next moment, the laughter stopped abruptly. The flames swallowed Yi Chen's young and thin body, but in the next moment, the other end of the great fireball. An iron fist burst out of the flame, directly blasting the flame. Uchiha month. With a roar, Yi Chen bathed in flames, like a god of fire coming into the world, with a punch that lingered on. In his horrified expression, he slammed his abdomen fiercely. Crack. It was the sound of broken ribs, crisp and sweet. Uchiha-yu was hit hard by this and was beaten directly, spitting out sour water, rolled his eyes, and fainted. The whole place was silent. There were still sporadic residual flames on the body, and a faint scorched black burn appeared on the skin of the arm. Yi Chen's body stood motionless like an ancient statue, smashing through C-rank ninjutsu with one punch, which was really too explosive. The surroundings were silent, but Yi Chen ignored them because a series of system prompts appeared in his mind. Ding! Experience plus 10. Experience plus 25. Experience plus 40. Experience plus 30. During the entire battle with Uchiha-yu, his experience points have grown rapidly, and according to statistics, there have been more than 190. Especially when he knocked down Uchiha-yu with his last punch, his experience value was directly increased by more than 60. Now statistics, the current level of experience is 195 1,000ths. 1,000 experience is the experience required to advance from level 2 to level 3. At present, I can only upgrade to LV2, Conqueror's Haki, Armament Haki. But now is not the time to upgrade. Yi Chen. Kushina trotted over and pursed her lips. The tears in the corners of my eyes were still glittering tears, but they were happy tears. Fool. Yi Chen was slightly surprised by Kushina's reaction, but Yi Chen continued. I'm fine. Idiot, your arm is burning. Kushina said angrily. The ninja teacher came back to his senses for a long time, gave Yi Chen a deep look, and said. Minato, Hyo, bring some boys to take Uchiha-yu to the infirmary. All the other students, leave. Mirror, also known as Hyuga Mirror, is a child of Hyuga's branch house. Namikaze Minato and Kagami called some classmates to move out Uchiha month. At this time, Uchiha's moon eyeballs were white, and his mouth was very large, and he was completely distracted by a punch. The rest of the classmates also slowly dispersed, and their eyes were all on Yi Chen. After today, the name of Yi Chen will shock the entire ninja school. No one should underestimate him, and he is not a ninja student with mediocre qualifications, but a genius. A genius who can smash C-rank ninjutsu with one punch. Kushina-kun, why are you still not leaving? Said the ninja teacher with a serious expression. Teacher, me. Kushina hesitated. Go back to class first. Yi Chen said. He was mature and knew that the teacher had something to say. Oh, Kushina replied obediently, leaving slowly. At this time, there were only ninja teacher and Yi Chen in the entire school grounds, and the air suddenly froze, and it was silent. The ninja teacher said slowly, Student Yi Chen, I didn't expect you to defeat Uchiha-yu. Your talented teacher didn't find out. This is a dereliction of duty as a teacher. Yi Chen heard the words, but did not speak. The ninja teacher continued. Actually, don't blame the teacher for not caring about you at ordinary times, you are from outside the village after all. You also know how the Konoha shinobi hate the outer village ninjas, and the teacher doesn't want to. But my parents were killed by other village ninjas, can you understand? I can't treat them equally. Quote. Understood, Yi Chen said with a heavy heart. The current era is not the peaceful ninja era of later generations. When the ninjas of the 5 major ninja villages meet, they basically don't need to speak, they fight directly to fight for benefits and resources. Not to mention that the laughing ninja villages who survive in the cracks are doing everything they can to become stronger. Ninja teacher is not wrong, what is wrong is this world. Your battle with Uchiha month was originally an unequal battle. The teacher is a little ninja and can't afford to offend a big family like Uchiha, so I'm sorry to you. But now that you have defeated Uchiha Yu and seriously injured him, with the character of the Uchiha family, they will definitely not let you go, you must be careful. The ninja teacher said solemnly. This is Konoha village. No matter how powerful the Uchiha family is, they wouldn't dare to mess around, right? Yi Chen said. You underestimate Uchiha. After second Hokage passed away, the Uchiha family became more and more perverse. And also the Konoha guards who hold prisoners in master. You are a foreigner, if you are caught by excuses. Not even Hokage can save you, said the ninja teacher. Hearing this, Yi Chen's joy of just winning the battle faded a lot, took a deep breath, and said. Thank you teacher for reminding me. Yi Chen-kun, I can see that your future will definitely be above your teacher. I hope that in the future you will live up to the grace of Konoha's teaching and nurturing. The current Konoha is not perfect, but I believe its future will definitely be. It will be wonderful, give him some time for it, said the ninja teacher. Yeah, Yi Chen nodded slowly. As long as Konoha lived up to him, he would definitely fight for Konoha. After all, if it weren't for Konoha, he would have been destroyed by other shinobi villages long ago. One more thing, Yi Chen-kun. Since you have talent, you should use this talent, and only then can you enter the sight of Lord Hokage. With Hokage-sama as shelter, I don't think even Uchiha will touch you easily. Quote. After speaking, the ninja teacher also deliberately bent over to perform an equal etiquette, and then left. Yi Chen didn't speak for a long time. He really didn't know what his teacher's name was. He only knew that when others called him behind his back, he was called Okamoto, so he would be called Okamoto-sensei. Mr. Okamoto is an ordinary chunin, and he is not very good in the whole Konoha. It is the most ordinary kind of ninja. Having said so much today, Yi Chen is the first time to know this ninjutsu teacher, who is a respectable teacher. It's just that other people's words are light, and in the end they can't change anything. The Uchiha clan, come if you want, Yi Chen thought to himself, he is not afraid of any challenge. Any difficulties and dangers are the resources for him to become stronger. Afterwards, he went to the school doctor's office for a simple bandage. Although he broke through the fire style, his arm still suffered a lot of burns. But this injury is nothing. One day passed like this. After school, Kushina was waiting for Yi Chen at the school gate. Until the school gate was completely closed, Kushina didn't wait for the person she wanted to wait for, so she left lonely. A person looks alone in the sunset. When he was about to get home, Kushina looked back at the empty street, but there was no one there. When I walked back home, I felt very depressed. What she didn't know was that soon after she left, at the corner of a street, a shadow that was not very tall quietly appeared. Yi Chen looked in the direction where Kushina disappeared and saw that she had returned home safely, and then left. He is not a heartless person, and he ate Kushina's bento this morning, so he helped her home again, but he didn't show up. I don't know if it's because the senior officials of Konoha said hello, no one dared to find fault with Kushina along the way. This makes him happy. Konoha Village, Hokage Building, is located in the center of the village. In the Hokage office, a ninja wearing an Anbu costume is half kneeling inside and reporting slowly, wait. Yi Chen, the survivor of the small village that was wiped out by Shaonin by mistake, he defeated the Uchiha clan. Said third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, holding a bong in his mouth and sipping his car every now and then. Yes, Lord Hokage. According to Anbu's news, this boy seems to have a bloodline limit of some kind of strange power, and he used his flesh to smash a C-rank ninjutsu. Anbu Ninja said. Weird, it's a bit like Tsunade, so keep watching, Sarutobi Hiruzen said. Yes, the Anbu Ninja disappeared with a bang. This Anbu is naturally not monitoring Yi Chen, he should not have that energy. Instead, he was monitoring the Uchiha clan, and Yi Chen was just involved in it. In recent years, the Uchiha family has become more and more arrogant. How could he, who is a Hokage, not be vigilant? In the current Konoha village, there are basically Anbu ninjas hiding where the Uchiha family is active. Sarutobi Hiruzen was just a little surprised about Yi Chen's situation. The bloodline-like limit of strange power was not worthy of his attention for the time being. No matter how powerful the monster is, can it be stronger than his student Tsunade? After all, they are from outside the village, so closeness is different. Meanwhile, in another shady spot in Konoha village, where the roots are, Danzo is standing in the shadows, in the dark, and a ninja wearing a fox face mask is half kneeling to report the situation. Yi-chen, interesting, keep watching, and if this kid can evade Uchiha's means again, pull him into the root. Yes, the fox face masked ninja responded and disappeared with a bang. In the center of the darkness, Danzo's face was filled with a powerful breath that made one shudder. Yi-chen used this knife well, it might stab into the heart of the Uchiha clan. Naturally, Yi-chen didn't know that he had been noticed by the top management of Konoha unintentionally. He was still cultivating and lived a life of 3 points and 1 line every day. In a flash, 3 months have passed. For this, Yi-chen 3 months ago and 3 months later is definitely reborn, and his strength has skyrocketed. Open the Properties panel. Host, Yi-chen. Abilities, Conqueror's Haki LV2, Observation Haki LV2, Armament Haki LV2, Mystery Tornado LV2, 1000 experience points are required to upgrade to the next level. Experience points, 301,000. Quote, there have been no disturbances for 3 months, and the Uchiha family has not moved, but Yi-chen knew that this peace would soon be broken. Today, before dawn, corner of Konoha village, in front of the wooden house, Yi-chen continued to practice his physical skills desperately. 451, 452, 499, 501. Quickly slam the fist and hammer the base stake, kick sideways, and only hear the sound of bang bang bang. At present, this stake is not an ordinary stake. Yi-chen specially found an iron sheet to cover the surface of the stake. And the armament Haki hasn't been turned on while working out. If people see this scene and absolutely laugh at it, even if it is self-abuse, you can't be good at metal, isn't it a brain disease? Who normal people do this? But Yi-chen is different, practicing Conqueror's Haki, he obviously feels that his physique is developing in a pervert direction. For example, all his Conqueror's Haki have been upgraded from LV1 to LV2, and he can feel his physique is also changing. Defense, strength, speed, all are increasing. Aside from other things, his physique is definitely far better than his peers. Especially the resilience is incredible. Often he used his fist to hammer iron stakes during training, but in the end his hands would definitely be cracked. But these injuries basically get better after a night of sleep. It seems that only Sage Body and Medical Ninja can have this kind of physique. Call. After training, Yi-chen took a shower and got ready to go to school. The Konoha village in the early morning is definitely the most dynamic, with many shops and pedestrians on the road, all with smiles on their faces, leisurely. In terms of happiness, Konoha village is definitely one of the top 5 villages. What? Yi-chen frowned. Observation Haki was passively triggered, and he felt an extremely strong malicious attack. Yi-chen turned around and walked in a familiar direction. However, before Yi-chen could go far, a boy with a forehead protector and a ninja uniform came across him. This is a chunin, about 15 or 16 years old. As we all know, the genin of Konoha will wear the forehead protector, and the chunin has a special uniform. Jonin's uniform has a slightly different number of pockets than chunin's. This is very convenient to judge the level of the ninja, and it is also easy to judge which ninja village belongs to. Unless it is above the general jonin, a strong person who is already famous in the entire ninja world will not wear uniforms and willfully choose their favorite clothes. Because those people no longer need to be identified by clothes. The name Chunin, after seeing Yi-chen, showed a cold and arrogant look without concealing it, and the corners of his mouth twitched with disdain, and walked over to block in front of him. When the people around saw this Chunin, their expressions changed. Because behind him is a red and white circle fan logo, the Uchiha family, the identity is ready to be revealed. The whole village did not like to see Uchiha, and they all regarded him as a plague. However, Uchiha controls the Konoha guard team, and the power is huge, and many people just dare not speak out. So when I saw Uchiha, I didn't dare to approach. Hurry up, the passerby said in horror. He seems to be going for this kid. Don't mind your own business. Poor baby actually provokes Uchiha. There are all kinds of living beings in it, Yi Chen looked at him coldly, looked at Chunin in front of him, and said, "If you're okay, don't get in the way. You're that kid from the outer village, who was lucky enough to join Konoha, right?" The Chunin looked down at Yi Chen, as if looking at an ant with disdain. He has such capital because he bears the blood of Uchiha, the honor of Uchiha. The visitor is not good, and observation Haki can clearly feel the almost twisted malice in the person in front of him. "You belong to the Uchiha family, right? Who is Uchiha you from?" Yi Chen said lightly. "I'm Uchiha Jiro, and you is my brother. Since you hurt my brother, you have to pay the price anyway." Uchiha Jiro said as a matter of course. "What price?" Yi Chen said, his words calm. "Abandon an arm, a leg," Uchiha Jiro said, as if it were a mercy and a gift. Hearing this, Yi Chen raised his eyelids, but sneered. "Did you get shit in your head? Unceremonious ridicule, no face at all. Idiot," Uchiha screamed in exasperation, with anger on his face, and he punched him in the street. Faced with this punch, Yi Chen sneered, without hesitation, he threw the same punch. At the moment when the two fists collided, LV2 armament Haki suddenly appeared, and a powerful force like a torrent was released. Crack! Uchiha Jiruo's face changed drastically, and a scream followed. Chapter 11. What? Uchiha Jiro screamed in a low voice, forcibly holding back the pain in his arm, and could not help but take 2 steps back. With that punch, he felt like he had hit a piece of fine iron, and for a moment he felt an incomparably powerful force that seemed to crush him. Is this what a ninja school student should have? Yi Chen withdrew his fist. 3 months ago, with a single blow from armament Haki, he was able to dispel C-rank ninjutsu. Although Uchiha Jiro is Chunin, can he resist C-rank ninjutsu with his physical body? What's more, the current Yi Chen Conqueror's Haki has all been upgraded by 1 level, and the power is incomparable. If it was Uchiha month, he could kill him with 1 punch. However, it can be seen from the side that there is still a gap between Chunin and Genin, at least in terms of physical fitness, Chunin is better. Of course, he had only used 6 layers of power just now, so he still had spare power. Its little ghost is a strange force, and he dares to make an axe in front of Uchiha. When Uchiha recovered his mind, he was extremely angry. Because at this time, people have gradually noticed the side and cast a strange look. Although the streets here are a bit remote, but a ninja village like Konoha, as long as it is in the village, how remote can it be? Watched by many amazed eyes, Uchiha Shiro felt hot on his face. He was a dignified Chunin, and it was a shame to be knocked back by Yi Chen, a kid who didn't graduate from the ninja school. "I'm going to kill you," Uchiha Jiro roared frantically in his heart, and then attacked with another taijutsu attack. After all, this is on the street, and if you use fire-style ninjutsu, you may hurt civilians. No matter how arrogant and domineering he was, Uchiha was not enough to ignore the safety of the Konoha village people. Yi Chen took a fancy to this, and was not to be outdone. 3 months of devil training, accompanied by countless blood and sweat, his body has already transformed after 1,000 trials and tribulations. Boom! The two collided again, bang, and there was a burst of sound in the air. Uchiha Jiro frowned. Although he had wrapped his arm with chakra, he still felt that he was not hitting an arm, but a piece of fine iron. The huge anti-shock force made him want to vomit blood, and his mentality was extremely collapsed. The two quickly fought each other, and you came and I went back and forth, and they were evenly matched, especially every time they fought each other, his arm hurt more and more. He didn't feel like he was fighting against someone, but a very hard soldering iron. Why is this kid so tough, and his physical skills are not weak? Uchiha became more and more frightened as he fought, and complained even more when he couldn't perform ninjutsu. What's more bloody is that his Sharingan clearly saw through Yi Chen's physical skills, but in the moment after the fight, Yi Chen always avoided his attack by coincidence, and he couldn't get the upper hand at all. This is the power of observation Haki, prejudging attacks and prejudging moves. Sharingan sees through the flaws in physique, and can only see the flaws before the fight. And seeing, hearing, and coloring are prejudgments, one is known, the other is unknown, and judgments are made. Yi Chen's punch is more powerful than a punch, and the momentum is like an endless river. In his eyes, Uchiha Jiro has been replaced by the iron stakes that he trained on weekdays, punching and kicking at will. And it is getting better and better, almost like a blessing to the soul, and shouted. Burst. With a full-strength punch, the body was bent into a full-moon bow, and armament Haki covered the front of the fist and threw it fiercely. Bang! Uchiha Jiro only felt a huge force attack, and there was only a black and shiny iron fist in his pupils. There seems to be steam emerging from the surface of this iron fist, and it carries 1001 powerful force, which is captivating. He didn't dare to take it hard at all, he could only put his arm on his chest to resist. Boom! Like a kite with a broken string, vomit, Uchiha vomited blood from his mouth and fell to the ground. A dignified Chunin was beaten up by the students of the Ninja Academy. There was an uproar around, and Konoha village residents showed strange expressions. Originally, they felt sorry for Yi Chen, the unfortunate child, why he provokes Uchiha, but now it seems that the result is completely different. Yi Chen, who was the client, was not proud, but had a solemn expression on his face. He understood that he was only fighting the cheapness of physical skills. Experience plus 20. Experience plus 10. Experience plus 40 inches. ... At the same time, there was a sound of experience skyrocketing in my mind, from 301 thousandths to 451 thousandths in a short period of time. It seems that dueling with the stronger ninja brings you more experience points. I am going to kill you. Boy, you completely pissed me off. Uchiha Jiro is Chunin after all, and the injuries he suffered are still within the tolerable range. He stood up abruptly, like a hungry wolf who chose people and devoured him. Quickly seal with both hands, Z ugly shu wushen hai yin. Fire style. Great fireball technique. It is also a C-rank ninjutsu, but Uchiha month is nothing compared to it. The entire street was covered by the great fireball technique, and the surrounding villagers were so frightened that their complexions changed drastically and they turned pale. I didn't expect that the Uchiha clan would actually release ninjutsu on the street, where is the method of Konoha? Ninja. The most powerful nature is ninjutsu, not taijutsu. A roaring fireball rushed towards the face, and the firelight illuminated Yi Chen's immature but indifferent face. No matter what kind of ninjutsu you are, he will be wiped out with one punch. 1 power down 10 sessions. It's just that he made a move that surprised Uchiha, never dodging or avoiding it. You know how good Uchiha is, but it's too late, go to hell. Uchiha Jiro laughed wildly, as if seeing the scene where Yi Chen was swallowed by flames. Water style. Water dragon bomb. At this moment, another voice sounded out of thin air. Water waves suddenly appeared on the flat ground, and a water dragon roared, directly breaking the great fireball technique. Water and fire are incompatible, swallowing each other, and the entire street is covered with water vapor in a blink of an eye. In the fog, a black figure appeared, wearing Anbu clothing and a white sacrificial mask. Yi Chen was not surprised when he saw the visitor. His observation Haki sensed that Anbu was on the side, so he simply stopped. Uchiha Jiro, private fights are prohibited in Konoha village, do you know the crime? Anbu ninja asked. What a private fight, I'm the Konoha Guard Division captain. Yi Chen is a Somura ninja, and I have reason to suspect that he is a Somura spy. For Konoha's safety, I wanted to arrest him and go back to torture him, but I didn't expect him to resist stubbornly, which is also a crime. Uchiha said with a mouth full of nonsense. Humph. Yi Chen looked at Uchiha Jiro indifferently, with murderous aura in his eyes. The arrest must be approved by Hokage-sama. Without an order, your Uchiha guards will not be allowed to do it. Anbu ninja said, words beyond doubt. Understood. You're lucky. Uchiha Jiro glared at Yi Chen fiercely, then swaggered away. He's not stupid enough to fight Anbu, it's not to block himself. After Uchiha Jiro left, Anbu ninja looked back at Yi Chen and said, well done, Anbu needs people like you. Then, with a bang, on the spot, it turned into a white mist and disappeared. Yi Chen didn't talk to anyone about being attacked by Uchiha Jiro on the street. After chatting with Anbu ninja for a while, he came to the ninja school alone. He thought a lot on the way, and from the tone of Anbu's ninja, it seemed that he meant to draw him into Anbu. In this era, ninja school can apply for graduation in advance, of course, it must be good enough. In the original book, Kakashi and Uchiha Itachi both applied for graduation and entered Anbu training in advance. After all, the flowers cultivated in the greenhouse cannot resist the wind and the sun. In the past 3 months, he spent most of his time training by himself, and often asked for leave from Mr. Okamoto. Mr. Okamoto knew that Yi Chen was training hard to cope with the crisis from the Uchiha clan, and he already had the level of graduation, so he readily agreed. Entering the campus, most of the students are still laughing and laughing without any worries. Compared with them, Yi Chen doesn't seem to be in a world with them. Run, the scarlet chili peppers are here again to bully people. In an open space, several little kids fled in a panic and stumbled. In the crowd behind, a sweet-looking red-haired girl walked quickly, aggressive, and the breath in the air made people shudder. Who is the girl if not Kushina? To say that the person who has changed the most in 3 months is Kushina. After 3 months of ninja lessons, Kushina showed extraordinary ninja talent and the unique physique of the Uzumaki family, and her strength soared, and she quickly became a genius girl at the ninja school. As the saying goes, the stronger the strength, the tougher the temper. Kushina was originally the princess of the Uzumaki clan, and she came to Konoha village to become Hokage in addition to learning ninjutsu. That's right, it's Hokage at Konoha village. This naive idea was naturally ridiculed by many classmates. After gaining strength, coupled with the greetings from the senior officials of Konoha, Kushina beat all the students who were not convinced. The key is that the students who have been beaten can't fight back, and the parents have explained it. In the ninja school, I would rather provoke Uchiha than Uzumaki Kushina. There is no way that people have a strong background. I'll be Hokage sooner or later. Kushina walked over with her pink fist tightly clenched, her face full of anger, her red hair fluttering in the air. However, she was taken aback for a moment, because Yi Chen was standing there not far away, still so cold. Yi Chen-kun. Kushina quickly put away the anger on his face, and in a blink of an eye, he smiled, like a blooming flower, showing a gentle smile. Long time no see. Yi Chen nodded slightly. Kushina had a surprised look on her face. According to Yi Chen, she knew, at most, she responded with a hum, but she didn't expect to say 4 words. You must know that Yi Chen is cherishing words like gold. And the reason why I haven't seen you for a long time is because Yi Chen has often asked for leave in the past 3 months, and Kushina sometimes doesn't come to the ninja school, so the two are strangely staggered. As for why Kushina often disappears, Yi Chen can also guess that it may have something to do with the first generation of Hokage's wife. Uzumaki Mido, the first generation Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. In addition to learning ninjutsu at the ninja school, Kushina may go to learn seal art with Uzumaki Mido more often. Sealing is the housekeeping skill of the Uzumaki family, and it is unique in the entire ninja world. Kushina was so emotional that she stood there thinking about it, revealing the twisted gesture of a little woman. This made the surrounding students feel horrified. It is rare in the world that this ninja school sister has such a shy side. But thinking that the other party was Yi Chen, everyone's hearts were relieved. This guy is also a ruthless man. He beat Uchiha for 3 months and couldn't get out of bed for 3 months, and now he is still lying on the bed. If it goes on like this, I don't know if I can graduate safely. Yi Chen glanced at Kushina, then walked straight to the ninja school. And Kushina is still fantasizing in place, immersed in her own world. There was a fat student who looked simple and honest around, and he couldn't help reminding. Sister, everyone is leaving. Quote ? Hearing this, Kushina suddenly woke up. Whoosh, the cold wind is howling. Where is Yi Chen's shadow? Why didn't you say it earlier? Kushina stared at the fat boy, his beautiful eyes spitting fire. Eldest sister, you didn't ask. The fat boy shrank his head, frightened. Kushina kicked her feet in a huff, and then chased after him. What I looked like just now was really embarrassing. In the classroom, Mr. Okamoto entered the classroom and saw Yi Chen was there today. They looked at each other, and everything was silent. Although chakra refining technique, 3-body technique, shuriken throwing technique have all been heard more than once. But Yi Chen has a different experience every time he listens to it. As for most of the students, they are drowsy. The whole class listened carefully to only those big family students from Konoha, such as Hyuga, Uchiha, Kurama, Nara, Yamanaka. Among the civilian-born ninjas, only a few ninjas from Namikaze Minato listened carefully to the class, and most of the others were sleepwalking. Different classes lead to different attitudes towards learning. Soon the theory class was over, and the students went to the playground after class for training. Teacher Okamoto called Yi-chen to the rooftop of the school to talk privately about something. Yi-chen, I heard about the attack on the streets of Konoha village. Okamoto said slowly. Thank you teacher for worrying. Yi-chen bowed slightly. Hehe, that's all I can do, I can't fight against the Uchiha clan. And my ninja talent is average, I can't even protect my own students, it's really a failure. Okamoto laughed at himself. Teacher, you don't have to blame yourself. Yi-chen said. Since defeating Uchiha month, Okamoto-sensei's attitude towards himself has gradually changed. Yi-chen, I want to tell you that there is still a week left for the ninja school to organize a ninja student competition. The contestants are all ninjas who have entered the ninja school for more than 1 year. When the time comes, Lord Hokage and some jonin in the village will watch it. Outstanding grades can be given priority to apply for graduation, be selected as a student by jonin or choose to enter Anbu. Although you have only entered the ninja school for half a year, the teacher still wants you to participate, get good grades, find a backer, and no longer worry about the troubles of the Uchiha family. Okamoto-sensei smiled. I will definitely participate, teacher. Yi-chen promised heavily. Very good. Mr. Okamoto smiled brightly. With Yi-chen's ninja talent, he would definitely get good grades. Yi-chen couldn't help but wonder about teacher Okamoto's strange behavior. After all, the two were not relatives, so he asked. Teacher, I have a question. Why do you care so much about me? How can I say that I am a refugee from other villages, not a native of Konoha? There is no need to work so hard for myself. As if he knew Yi-chen would ask such a question, Mr. Okamoto's face suddenly became melancholy. He took out a cigarette and lit it, and said. Because I will leave Konoha for the land of rain after the ninja confrontation game. We are the first ninjas to go to the battlefield. I'm afraid we will never come back. The leaves in the sunset are shrouded in the twilight, and it looks peaceful, which makes people intoxicated. But how many people know that a tranquility and peace are intertwined with the blood and flesh and blood of many ancestors? Ordinary chunin like Okamoto-sensei were too many in the Second Ninja World War, and their sacrifices would not be remembered. Yi-chen-kun, I just want to be a real teacher for the last time and care about my students. There are many problems in Konoha now, and it is impossible to take care of everyone with everything, and there must be something bad. But it is very young, Yi-chen-kun, you have to understand it and believe that it will be better in the future. Quote. Don't hate it, give it a chance. Walking on the street, Yi-chen's mind was full of Okamoto's last words, which he repeated over and over again. Go to the battlefield, 9 dead and no life. But even if he knew it was death, Mr. Okamoto still responded to the village's call without hesitation. Under such an era background, a group of people is bound to come forward. Even if his body is like dust, he has no regrets, and emits the last light and heat. Konoha lives up to me, I am willing to fight for him. In the end, Yi-chen came to the conclusion that he didn't want to be ruled by others all his life, he wanted to control his own destiny, nothing else. There is grace and there is revenge for revenge. Seek peace of mind, read mastery. Then, he walked quickly towards his residence. By the time we got to the hut, the setting sun had completely fallen below the horizon, the sky was dark, and the night sky was full of stars. Squeak. Pushing open the wooden door, the room was quiet, Yi-chen casually lit a candle. Suddenly, the whole dim room suddenly lit up, Yi-chen stood still, but his eyes were on the table not far away. A black and white scroll lay there quietly and motionless. Yi-chen frowned, then went over to pick up the scroll, opened it, and his face changed drastically. The original scroll read, Kushina is in the forest of death outside Konoha village. There is no signature, just a few short words, the goal is very clear, and it is aimed at him. When he was stunned, the scroll turned into a ball of flame with a bang, and disappeared without leaving any trace. Who is it? Uchiha. Almost in a blink of an eye, Yi-chen judged that the enemy was the Uchiha family. Currently in Konoha, the only force he provokes is this family. Especially in the morning, Uchiha Jiro still loses face on the streets of Konoha village, and he will never give up because of his stubborn character. It's just how Kushina is in the hands of Uchiha Jiro, you must know that there must be strong protection behind Kushina. But then Yi Chen abandoned this idea. Kushina, who had become Nine-Tails Jinchuriki in the original book, was not kidnapped by Cloud Shinobi. This is a deadly match against him. Yi Chen, whether Kushina is caught or not, he must go. Uchiha Jiro, you are courting death. Killing intent appeared in Yi Chen's eyes, then he changed into a Black Knight ninja costume and rushed towards the Forest of Death. At the same time, Konoha's intelligence agency is also operating. Hokage building, an Anbu ninja half-kneeled in front of third Hokage. There was also a girl in her early 20s standing in front of third Hokage's desk. The girl has long light yellow hair, fair complexion, bright eyes, and an uninhibited look at the corners of her mouth, full of youthful vigor. He was wearing a thin green long coat on the outside, and a big gambling word was quite conspicuous. Inside is a tight-fitting gray and white striped jersey, with a black waist tied tightly around the waist. The bulging piece on the chest is obviously too developed, and the waves are choppy. Dressed like this, her identity is ready to be revealed. Student of 3rd Hokage, princess of the Senju clan, granddaughter of Senju Hashirama, future Sannin, Tsunade. Tsunade didn't speak, he put his hands around his chest and listened carefully to Anbu's narration, frowning. Go down. After Anbu ninja finished speaking, 3rd Hokage let it go. Bang! A puff of white smoke appeared out of nowhere, and the Anbu ninja disappeared. Tsunade's calm face suddenly showed anger, and said, Old man, this Uchiha is getting more and more arrogant, don't you care? Sarutobi Hiruzen smiled wryly, took a puff of smoke, and said, Uchiha controls the Konoha guard, don't move them. But this Uchiha is determined to fight Yi Chen, it is obviously a premeditated death, their clan is too small, even a ninja school student can't stand it. Yi Chen, this name sounds familiar. Tsunade murmured. You forgot, Yi Chen was the survivor of Sand Shinobi's destruction of the village, or you led the ninja team to rescue, Tsunade. Sarutobi Hiruzen said. I'm just saying, why is it so familiar? But how did this kid provoke Uchiha? Tsunade asked, puzzled. After all, most of the time, apart from practicing ninjutsu and then gambling money, she paid little attention to the affairs of the village. Hehe, 3 months ago. This Yi Chen beat Uchiha's clan to half to death, and it is said that he has not been able to get out of bed yet. Sarutobi Hiruzen said. Obviously it's a matter between the juniors, it's shameless for Uchiha to let a Chunin intervene. Good fight, these defiant guys should have come out and taught them a lesson. Tsunade shouted. Hey, it's more comfortable to fight. With Uchiha's stubborn character, now revenge is coming. Oh, strange to say, this Yi Chen also seems to have a bloodline similar to the magic power. Sarutobi Hiruzen reminded seemingly unintentionally. Bloodline. Tsunade's expression changed, and a look of interest appeared on his face, saying. That, old man, I have something to do, so I'll go first. By the way, if the boss of Konoha Casino comes to ask for money, you can give me some money. After that, Tsunade ignored 3rd Hokage and left the office with a body flicker technique. This child, Sarutobi Hiruzen was stunned for a moment, then suddenly laughed. Tsunade had ruined the Senju family's family business, and now he came to harass him again. He immediately stood up, walked to the window, looked at the village in the dark, and murmured. My child, this is all you can do for you. The rest is up to you. He remembered that during the day, Okamoto, the Chunin tutor of the ninja school, came to tell him about Yi Chen, and couldn't help but be moved. It's just that as Hokage, he considers many things, involving the interests of all parties, and it is impossible to do it himself. Forest of Death. Yi Chen came to the appointment alone, and he found the place where Uchiha Jiro agreed. From a distance, Kushina was seen tied to a big tree, struggling constantly. Just as he approached, Kushina turned into a piece of wood. Body replacement technique. Yi Chen was not surprised by this situation. Kushina has high-level protection, so how could he be caught so easily? Swish. The leaves were moving, and a long black shadow appeared from the depths of the forest. Through the pale and bleak moonlight, Uchiha Jiro could be seen approaching with a murderous face. Quack quack. Nighthawks were chirping, and from time to time they passed through the dense forest, startling a large leaf. The gloomy wind whistled, and the moon in the night sky was obscured by clouds and smoke. The moon is dark and the wind is high at night, it is time to kill. Uchiha Jiro walked out of the darkness, with a murderous smile on his face, walked up to him like a leisurely stroll, and looked down at Yi Chen condescendingly. Yi Chen's expression was calm and expressionless, stern and cold. Boy, you actually came here to die, hee. If you offend my Uchiha clan, you will pay with your life. If you want to blame it, you are a foreigner with no power and no power. If you offend you can't afford to offend people. Uchiha Jiro said fiercely. The pupils instantly turned scarlet, and 3-hooked jade appeared, which was extremely strange. A lot of nonsense. Yi Chen moved, his body flashed, and he stomped on the ground with one foot and directly smashed the ground. With the help of a strong rebound, he came to Uchiha Jiro in an instant. Armed color. Hardened. The body bends into a bow, and the punch turns into a jet black iron body color. With a punch, it exploded the air, and the airflow was disordered. Not weak, faster than Chunin. But you still don't understand. In front of these eyes, no matter how fast you are, it's useless. Uchiha has a confident look on his face. Sharingan is an eye for insight and a jade with 3 hooks, and the power of insight is even more extraordinary. In his pupils, Yi Chen's speed was more than doubled, and he was completely at ease. I saw him raise his fist and punch, the light blue chakra covering the surface of the fist. He suffered losses under Yi Chen's strange power, and he would not suffer the same losses a second time. Boom! The fists of the two collided together, the armed color and chakra collided, and a fierce energy spread around the two of them. Fragile trees were snapped and fell into a row. Then, the two retreated. Yi Chen stopped steadily, as still as a rock. But Uchiha Jiro took 2 or 3 steps back, and there was a burning pain in his arm. In a sense, he fights with a piece of fine iron. Yi Chen had the advantage in one blow and attacked again, but this time, instead of punching, he threw out a whip. The legs are still wrapped in the armed color and hardened, and the head is cut off with a ruthless kick. From a distance, the arc of this kick is like a waning moon slash, which is fierce. Uchiha Jiro did not make a hard connection, but instead used the body flicker technique to avoid it. Boom! The hardened whip leg kicked in the air and hit the ground directly. Because the earth could not bear this force, it was directly torn apart, forming a huge pit on the spot. This is the nature of armament haki, increasing the user's strength and defense. And with Conqueror's haki going hand in hand, Yi Chen's own physical quality has also changed step by step, stronger than the general ninja's physique. Uchiha Jiro looked at the big pit under Yi Chen's feet, and a cold sweat fell on his head. With such power, you can't get any benefit from hard attaching it yourself. What a terrible talent. Since it is already the enemy of Uchiha, it must be killed to avoid future troubles. Yi Chen didn't care what Uchiha Jiro thought. Another attack followed. Uchiha Jiro was forced to accept the move, and when the two competed in physique, although he had a Sharingan, he still couldn't get half of the benefits, and instead he was beaten and aggrieved. Yi Chen is too hard. Moreover, Yi Chen became stronger and stronger, and the strange power was also increasing. In the long run, his 2 arms had to be destroyed. Ninjas practice ninjutsu, and their strengths are all on ninjutsu. Few ninjas have a strong physique, but Yi Chen's most powerful physique is currently. Use your own strength to attack the enemy's weakness. No, if it goes on like this, it will be consumed to death. In such a time, Uchiha couldn't hold a student who didn't graduate from the ninja school, so Uchiha was anxious. Immediately quickly formed the seal, performed the body flicker technique and distanced himself from Yi Chen, then placed his hands on his chest to form the seal again, shouting loudly. Fire style. Great fireball technique. He inhaled suddenly, his stomach closed, his mouth bulged, and he spit out a huge fireball. Compared to the month of Uchiha, the power of this great fireball technique is at least doubled. But now 3 months later, Yi Chen's armament haki is already LV2, which is not the same. Watch me blast it. Armed color. Hardened. This time, instead of the fist turning black, the entire arm turned black. Profound truth. Iron fist. With an angry shout, Yi Chen's body turned into a sharp arrow, and an armed iron fist slammed out. How stupid to pick up my great fireball technique with my hands. Uchiha sneered. Boom. The hardened armed-colored arms suddenly bombarded the surface of the great fireball with a radius of 2 or 3 meters. At the moment when the fist and the flame touch, the space suddenly freezes. With the armed colored fist as the center, black Haki ripples radiate out to the surrounding. Heaven and earth lost their voice at this moment, and even the red-yellow flames of the great fireball became dim, and heaven and earth turned pale. This is the power of Haki. Armament Haki of LV1 has only simple hardening, increasing strength. And the LV2 level armed color has been able to produce the Haki field, that is, the vision, that kind of black energy ripples that are like reality. If Armament Haki goes a step further, these sweeping black Haki ripples could shatter everything. Just like the internal force fluctuations of martial arts masters spread, the places they pass are like blasting. Break it for me. 3 months ago, Yi Chen was able to destroy C-rank ninjutsu, and there was no reason why he couldn't destroy the same C-rank ninjutsu 3 months later. The black ripples washed by Armament Haki continued to spread around, and with Yi Chen's fist at the center, the great fireball burst into flames. The strong fist wind blasted out, like a shock wave, and the great fireball was declared broken. At the same time, in the distance, the energy of the armed color shattered a huge tree in the air. It's impossible. Uchiha Jiruo's eyes seemed to bulge out, dumbfounded. Nothing is impossible. My ability is good for bells and whistles. Then prepare to die, Yi Chen said coldly. Ha ha ha. Uchiha Jiruo laughed wildly as if he heard something funny, and said, "Boy, don't think that a little bit of power is great. I am Chunin, the man who bears the glory of the Uchiha clan, so I will show you the true power of our Uchiha clan. Sharingan, open." Uchiha Jiruo glared at Yi Chen fiercely. The scarlet pupils and the pitch-black Sango jade looked extremely strange at this time. Yi Chen felt in a trance. His body was as heavy as lead, and he couldn't move. Oops, it's an illusion. The taste of illusion is not good. Who can compare with us Uchiha in the whole Konoha? Before Uchiha Jiruo finished speaking, a burst of fear involuntarily surfaced in his heart. He looked at Yi Chen like a ghost, and Yi Chen's eyes were fixed on him at this time. What kind of look is that? Looking at him is like looking at ants. He is ignored, and he can't even give birth to the heart of resistance. Conquerors, open. The essence of illusion is actually the control of the spiritual level, interfering with the ninja chakra, making the ninja lose control of the body, and at a deeper level, it is the nightmare of the magician. In theory, Conqueror's Haki is also a skill at the level of spiritual power, which is breathtaking and captivating. Those who are more powerful will affect the real material world, the world will lose its color, and all things will be silent. Conqueror's Haki appeared more than once in the original Pirates, and every time Conqueror's Haki was displayed, it was bleak and powerful. So whether it is Conqueror's or illusion, it is essentially a duel on the spiritual level. Yi Chen was hit by the Uchiha Sharingan illusion, but unintentionally triggered Conqueror's Haki. The power of Conqueror's Haki directly reflected the illusion, and it also absolutely suppressed Uchiha Jiruo. At this moment, Uchiha Jiruo trembled all over, couldn't help himself, was afraid in his heart, and didn't dare to look Yi Chen in the eyes at all. Only ninjas never dared to look Uchiha clan in the eyes, but now the situation has reversed. And taking advantage of this time, Yi Chen didn't miss any chance. Whoosh! His strong physical quality made him come to Uchiha in an instant. What? At this time, almost the effect of Conquerors gradually weakened. Uchiha Jiruo woke up from the trance, just in time to see Yi Chen coming close. It was too late for him to avoid. Yi Chen's eyes were indifferent. He raised an arm and a dark blue ball appeared out of thin air. If there are Hokage fans who see this scene, they will definitely go to hell. Rasengan. Yes, it was Rasengan. After 3 months of training, Yi Chen not only exercised his body, he practiced Haki, but also took advantage of these few opportunities to develop the Muji Ninjutsu Rasengan. The core of Rasengan is compression and ninja control. It does not require chakra nature transformation, and it is one of the most suitable ninjutsu for him at present. Rasengan. Yi Chen let out a loud shout, his arm suddenly pushed, and Rasengan slammed into Uchiha Jiruo's stomach. What? Uchiha Jiruo's pupils were so wide that his eyeballs almost bulged out, and he watched the ball on his stomach as if he had been hit hard. Rasengan's compressive force without rotational force messed up his Chunin's vest outfit. Finally, with a bang, his body flew out backwards, hit the tree directly, and fell to the ground. After struggling twice, he was silent. Yi Chen walked over and looked at Uchiha Jiro, who had lost his breath, expressionless. He took out the kunai from the ninja bag and slammed it into Uchiha Jiro's heart 4 or 5 times, ruthlessly and decisively. After he was dead and had no breath at all, Yi Chen gradually felt relieved and breathed a sigh of relief. Only the dead don't speak. The world of ninjas is so cruel, before and now. After coming to this world and seeing his little ninja village being slaughtered, Yi Chen already understood. Ding, experience plus 100. Experience plus 50. Express plus 50. Experience plus 30. ... Express plus 300. At the same time, a series of system prompts sounded, and his experience gauge skyrocketed. In a blink of an eye, it broke through 1200-1000, reaching the standard of upgrading skills. This experience improvement is definitely the fastest one, more than the sum of the previous 3 months. In an instant, Yi Chen was enlightened, because this time he killed someone. No matter what game you play, killing someone to gain experience is definitely the fastest one. Bang! A burst of white smoke appeared in front of Gulu, a golden treasure chest appeared out of thin air, and the system came out of the treasure box again. The surface of this golden treasure chest is covered with golden light, it looks like Krypton gold. However, only you can see the treasure chest, and others cannot perceive it. Yi Chen opened the golden treasure chest with excitement. The light inside made him narrow his eyes. When the light gradually subsided, he saw the items inside. A fruit that looks like a pineapple, about the size of a fist, the size of a sandbag. There is a faint flame pattern on the surface of the fruit, and there is a magic power that makes people deeply attracted, and I can't bear to look away. Devil fruit, this is devil fruit. At the same time, the information about devil fruit appeared in Yi Chen's mind. Mara Mara fruit, Logia devil fruit. The eater can turn into flames all over the body, and can even create flames through the body. Physical attacks are ineffective, and the fruit's ability is proportional to the user's ability. The fruit of the pirate ace in the original book, Mara Mara fruit, is undoubtedly a powerful Logia fruit. Eating it will definitely improve your strength by a big step. However, Yi Chen didn't eat now. At this time, the forest of death is full of unknowns and unsafe. If something happens, it will be bad. With excitement, Yi Chen put the golden treasure box into the system, and when he saw the body of Uchiha Jiro in front of him, he decided to bury him. Rasengan. First blow up a grave with Rasengan, then kick the dead Uchiha Jiro in with one kick. Thanks to this little monster for letting himself drop such good equipment. Then quickly fill the hole without leaving a trace, and when everything is done, it is time to breathe a sigh of relief. His observation haki suddenly felt an unfamiliar aura beside him, concealed very well, and he hadn't noticed the slightest bit before. Observation haki warned wildly, obviously this stranger's strength is very strong. Come out, Yi Chen said in a deep voice. It is a pity that there is no other sound in the forest except the echo of his own voice, the sound of the wind, and the sound of the nighthawk flying by. It is impossible for observation haki to predict wrong. Just like it is impossible to see through the eyes, it can only be said that the other party's concealment technique is clever. With the observation haki perception, Yi Chen felt that the mysterious person was not malicious, and said, "If you don't come out, I'll leave." After speaking, turn around and leave without any hesitation. Haha, are you guilty, kid? A soft-sounding female voice suddenly came from the darkness, and then an extremely slim figure appeared in the dark shadow. With the faint moonlight, Yi Chen was able to see this woman's face, his eyes couldn't help but linger, and he secretly said, "How could it be her? He's too familiar with this woman, big fat Tsunade, future 5th Hokage." It is also the face value of the entire Konoha village, especially that pair of murder weapons is shocking. Looking at the 5 countries, there are countless girls, and there is no enemy of unity. In the past life, this woman was the fantasy object of many dead houses, and she was no exception. Now I didn't expect to see it with my own eyes, but the real person is even more charming. Gentleman Yi Chen's eyes glanced at Tsunade's chest lightly, and then looked away. This is respect for the beauty of the body, and if you look at it again, it will be linked to the indecent. Looking at Tsunade's young face, he deliberately said, "Who are you?" Quack quack. A night of owls suddenly haunted humans, making this dark forest even more eerie. Rustle. The sound of the wind and the rustling of leaves drifted by gently, and the air gradually fell into a dead silence. Yi Chen looked at Tsunade. He wasn't sure of Tsunade's purpose. After all, he just killed Uchiha Jiro right here. The soil on the ground is still fresh at this time, and there are still traces of some plants and trees burned by the great fireball technique. Who am I? Kid, you don't know. Tsunade folded his arms around his chest, a smile appeared on his fair face, and his eyes lit up. Why should I know? Yi Chen said coldly. If Tsunade threatens him with murder, then he can only defect to Konoha. Because the current self does not have the strength to kill Tsunade silently, so prepare everything in advance. About half a year ago, I led a team of ninjas on a mission and passed by a small village that was destroyed by sand shinobi. The entire village lost hundreds of lives, and there are only a few survivors, and you are one of them. Tsunade said lightly, open the mouth and slowly narrate. I was seriously injured and in a coma at the time, and I never saw you at all. As you said, then you were my savior? Yi Chen asked rhetorically. Yes or no, but I didn't expect that the dying kid who was rescued back then would have the strength to kill elite Chunin alone in just 3 months. Tsunade walked slowly in front of Yi Chen, slightly bent his slender waist, and set his eyes on Yi Chen's cold, stone-like face. In fact, after 3 months of devil training, and the particularity of Conqueror's Haki, Yi Chen's height has grown a lot, far exceeding his peers. However, compared to Tsunade, it is still about half a head shorter. So at this time Tsunade was bending over in front of her, his body was shaking slightly, and a charming fragrance belonging to a young girl came out, refreshing. And Yi Chen's line of sight is a bit of a problem, just looking straight at it, it feels too white and too dazzling. What did these girls eat to grow up? But Tsunade didn't realize it, and perhaps knew that he was doing it on purpose. After all, in her eyes, Yi Chen is just an 8-year-old kid, what can he understand? It's a pity she didn't know, Yi Chen's childlike skin is a mature and stable soul. Yi Chen silently recited an ice heart formula, all appearances are floating clouds to him, and said coldly. Did you see it all? Tsunade-sama. Well, I've seen everything that should be seen. Ruthless and decisive, killing people and burying corpses is not something a child can do. Tsunade admitted generously. Hehe, child, are there simple children in this era? Master Tsunade, are you here to talk about this? Or arrest me and go back to Konoha to plead guilty? But I tell you, if you catch me, I'll fight back. Yi Chen said earnestly, word by word. Hearing this, Tsunade had an inexplicable look on his face, and said, whoever said that I came to arrest you, didn't it mean that a Uchiha died? It's better to kill them if they're not happy. Hearing Tsunade's words, Yi Chen breathed a sigh of relief. It would be easier to catch him, so as to save the fish in the net. But he still said, thank you. If no one saw it, then his killing of Uchiha wouldn't be the same thing. Tsunade or other ninjas see it, that's not a property. So for public and private, Tsunade owes him a favor for not exposing it. You still say thank you? Kid, do you think you've been cold all the time? Tsunade couldn't help but tease. Just killed someone and got caught again. Yi Chen also didn't want to spend the night with Tsunade in this spooky forest, and said coldly. Goodbye. After speaking, he turned around and left, leaving this place of right and wrong without any nostalgia. It's gone now. Tsunade froze in place, he still had many doubts. Hey, little brat, don't go. Tsunade's voice came from behind, Yi Chen heard it but didn't stop. Seeing this, Tsunade is out of breath. He is really a stubborn little brat, even though he is so young, he is decisive and ruthless in his actions. It's not like the performance of this age. By the way, how did you do that ball in your hand just now? Tsunade chased after him and asked like a curious baby. With her eyesight, she can naturally see that this is a ninjutsu, but she doesn't know how to do it. There is not even a seal, there is no such ninjutsu in the known ninjutsu scrolls of Konoha. I created it myself, Yi Chen said casually. Created by yourself? This is impossible. How could you, a child, create ninjutsu? And in my opinion, the power of ninjutsu is at least A level. Tsunade came over with a shocked expression, dancing to show that his IQ was not enough. Just because you don't believe it doesn't mean it's impossible. Yi Chen glanced at Tsunade and said lightly. Can you tell my sister exactly how to sit, kid? Tsunade asked with a smile, intrigued. Yi Chen paused and said coldly. Scrub with your hands. After that, Tsunade left with a confused face and walked away. What the hell, rubbing it with your hands? What the hell is this? Tsunade's head froze, and by the time she recovered, Yi Chen had already disappeared into the vast darkness. At the same time, the darkness of Konoha was already turbulent. Yi Chen and Uchiha are fighting against each other. Although it is not known to the bright side, there are turbulent waves and undercurrents in the dark. At Root's base, a member of Root's squad was half kneeling on the ground, respectfully reporting the outcome of the battle to Danzo, who was seated in the shadows ahead. Even though Danzo has experienced many great events, he was still dumbfounded when he heard such a result, saying, Uchiha Jiro died. This was an elite Chunin who was killed by an 8-year-old child. Chunin is divided into ordinary Chunin, elite Chunin. Generally, elite Chunin are ninjas with special talents, such as bloodline limit, or other talents are outstanding. Uchiha Jiro owns Sharingan and naturally surpasses ordinary Chunin. Yes, my lord, and that kid seems to have a Muji ninjutsu in addition to the bloodline, which is unheard of. Uchiha Jiro was killed by this Muji ninjutsu, said the Root member. Interesting, funny, he has hatred for Uchiha again, this Yi Chen must recruit him into the Root. Danzo said. My lord, there are members of Anbu who are monitoring this battle. I'm afraid Lord Hokage already knows the news, said Root. Lord Hokage has me there, you go down. Danzo said, his attitude unquestionable. Yes. The member turned into a cloud of white smoke with a bang and disappeared in place. Meanwhile, at the Hokage building, a cat-faced Anbu member is reporting the situation to 3rd Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen. Sarutobi Hiruzen was smoking a cigarette stick and frowned, as if he was not at peace. A corner of Konoha, located on the edge of the entire Konoha village, the Uchiha family area. Because of Second Hokage's policies and propositions, the Uchiha family was virtually excluded from Konoha. Many big families in Konoha rarely have contact with Uchiha, plus their arrogant and domineering personality, which has caused Uchiha to gradually become a loner. At this moment, in the brightly lit room, many members of the Uchiha garrison gathered together, including the current Uchiha family patriarch Uchiha Shield Mountain, with different expressions. Why hasn't Jiro come back? When is it all? The man who spoke was a man in his 30s, with a gloomy complexion and wearing a green vest, which was unique to Konoha Jonin. His name is Uchiha Kanao, and he is Uchiha Jiruo's father. Kanao, don't worry, you and I can see Jiruo's strength. He is already an elite Chunin at a young age, and his strength is not weak. There will be no problem with solving a kid from the outer village. Patriarch Uchiha Dunshin comforted. Yeah, Kanao, you don't have to worry about Jiruo's nephew's strength. Another Uchiha garrison captain comforted. Several other people said the same thing. Hearing this, Uchiha Kanao didn't say anything, but his face didn't look good either. Time passes, keeps passing. The people in the original room finally left in pieces, and in the end only Uchiha Kanao and Uchiha Dunshin were left. And the two are also dozing off and falling asleep. Bang! A Uchiha spy appeared out of nowhere, kneeling on one knee on Uchiha Shield Mountain, with a heavy face in front of Kanruo. The appearance of the spies also made Uchiha Dunshin and Uchiha Kanao wake up with no sleep and asked, what's wrong? The ninja bowed his head and said nothing, took out a scroll from his arms, spread it out on the ground, then formed a seal, and shouted. Untie. Bang! A burst of white smoke came out, and the original scroll disappeared, replaced by a corpse full of the smell of mud. Son. Uchiha Kanao instantly recognized that this clay figurine was his son. In an instant, he burst into tears, and the entire Uchiha family could hear the sound of howling. Uchiha Dunshin's expression was ugly, but he didn't expect such a result. Maybe today will change. Yi Chen, who is a party to Konoha's undercurrents, doesn't care. For now, the most important thing for him is to improve his strength. His original ninja talent can only be regarded as ordinary, but since the awakening of Conqueror's Haki, the efficiency of refining chakra invisibly has increased a lot. Until now, his chakra level has reached the level of genin. Even in the ninja school, he is considered a small genius. With the addition of a gradually perverted physique, the increase of Conqueror's Haki has been able to compete with Chunin, and it can still be suppressed. You must know that it has only been half a year since he cultivated, and the progress is definitely a leap. After returning home, it was already late at night. Yi Chen locked the door, sat cross-legged on the bed, and extracted Mara fruit from the system space. Who would have thought that this dragon fruit-like fruit is actually a devil fruit, endowed with god-like abilities? Holding the fruit in his hand and staring quietly, the skin on Yi Chen's hand could even feel the temperature from the flame inside devil fruit. It is really incomparably hot and violent, as if it can burn everything. Yi Chen couldn't figure it out. Ace, who had Mara fruit in the original book, was actually restrained by Red Dog's lava fruit. Mara fruit has more potential than lava fruit in every way. Flame, Ultimate's flame, what's a piece of magma? However, it is also possible that Red Ace is too young, and the development of devil fruit is not as good as Red Dog's Admiral. Eat or not, are you afraid of seawater? Yi Chen fell into thinking, and of course this thought lasted for less than 3 seconds before biting towards the dragon fruit. What he needs most now is power, and he can't resist the temptation of power, not to mention an ability like devil fruit that is readily available. Crack. One bite, nothing special at first, but the more you chew, the weirder the devil fruit tastes. Just like fermentation, there is an unbearable and strange taste in the mouth, which makes people want to vomit. Gollum. Pinch your nose and swallow directly. Yi Chen frowned and twisted into big Sichuan characters. It smells so weird, vomit. Yi Chen clutched his stomach, took a deep breath, and calmed down after a long time. With more than half of the Mara fruit left in his hand, he couldn't eat it. This taste, definitely do not want to experience a second time. Do I have the power to control fire now? Yi Chen thought about it, then stretched out a middle finger and said silently. Fire. Whoosh. The next second, a flame streaked directly from the fingertips, illuminating the dimly lit room. The flame was on his fingers, but he couldn't feel the slightest temperature, and his hands felt very gentle and supple. With a thought, whoosh, the flames on the fingers suddenly burst again, and then formed a circle above the fingers and continued to condense, turning into a football-sized fireball. Bah! Yi Chen snapped his fingers, and the fireball disappeared out of thin air. He made a visual observation and found that the power of flames he now controls almost reached the level of D-rank ninjutsu, which is the level of genin. And he carefully felt the new force in his body, that is, Mara fruit, and he was temporarily unable to elementize his body. Even devil fruit can't give him an invincible power all at once. This power requires constant training and development. Seeing this, Yi Chen opens the Properties panel. Host. Yi Chen. Ability. Conqueror's Haki LV2, Observation Haki LV2, Armament Haki LV2, Tornado Profound Truth LV2, 1000 experience points are required to upgrade to the next level. Fruit. Mara fruit LV1, it takes 100 experience to upgrade to the next level. Experience points, 1200 1000. Quote, there is one more fruit ability in the attribute panel, but the upgrade experience is the same. Upgrade. Yi Chen spent 100 experience points to upgrade Mara fruit, and the level became LV2 in a blink of an eye, with 1200 experience points. After upgrading to LV2, Yi Chen obviously felt that the fruit ability in his body had grown a lot, and he seemed to be able to partially elementalize himself. Seeing that he still has 1100 experience left, Yi Chen is in a tangle. It really is that there are more monks and less flesh. Which one should I upgrade now? Whether it's Conqueror's Haki or Mara fruit, he wants to level up, but there's only so much experience. In the end, Yi Chen chose to upgrade Armament Haki. Armament color allows him to have ultimate defense and overwhelming power. The other two colors Haki have high potential, but upgrading them is not a big improvement for him at present. Upgrade your armed color. Yi Chen showed a determined color. There are still 100 left after the instant experience is cleared, and the armament color has also been upgraded from LV2 to LV3. A strong feeling arises spontaneously. Before, he was a little reluctant to break through the C-rank ninjutsu, but now he is confident. A week later, Konoha. The school became extremely lively today, because there was no need for classes, and it was the day of the ninja competition. After getting up early to exercise, Yi Chen came to the school early. After he defeated Uchiha Yu, the genius of the Uchiha clan, Yi Chen was destined not to be an unknown ninja from a foreign village, but a genius of the same fame as Namikaze Minato and Hyuga. Along the way, many students were greeted with awe and admiration. Moreover, Yi Chen's appearance is not bad, with dark hair, dark pupils, a stern face as sharp as a knife, and strong external strength, which has already left a mark on the hearts of some beautiful girls. But he himself scoffed at these. Just a bunch of kids, what fun. The essence of the ninja competition is to select opponents through a method similar to drawing lots, and then conduct a ninjutsu duel. The winner enters the next round until the final champion. This is different from the actual combat training in ordinary classes, but most of the ninjas in the entire ninja school will participate. To know that this period Konoha Shinobi School would is not so perfect, and wars continue. In order to save teacher resources, that is, ninja resources, middle and lower grades are taught in one class. Therefore, those who participate in this competition have the admission side, and there are 2 years and 3 years of admission. Basically, students who are in the first year of school will choose to give up this competition unless they are confident in their talents. Not to mention that Yi Chen participated in the ninja competition half a year after entering school. Basically, this competition is a competition between the second and third grades. Even so, there are still dozens of students participating in the competition. The playground is divided into 5 areas, that is, 5 fields. Then all students are drawn by lot, and all the winners and losers are divided after the battle, followed by the winners against the winners, and the losers against the losers. In this way, the continuous drawing of lots will finally result in an overall ranking. At the beginning, the 4 sub-courts are used, and after several rounds, the winner can enter the 5th main venue for the following competition. The 5th venue is the main venue. Hokage will appear on this venue to watch in person, including Konoha, and some Jonin will also come. The opening ceremony of the actual combat assessment was naturally hosted and unveiled by Sarutobi Hiruzen himself. Under the respectful gaze of a group of ninjas, Sarutobi Hiruzen dressed in Hokage robes, and Shishirin stepped onto the stage. When Sarutobi Hiruzen took the stage, all the students cheered in unison. Looking at the children in the ninja school in front of them, those expressions of admiration, awe and excitement, Sarutobi Hiruzen also had a warm smile on his face. He waved his hand, and the audience instantly fell silent. What Konoha inherited, where Konoha flies, is the will of fire. The future of the village is in your hands. The will of fire will be inherited by you newborn green leaves, so children, work hard. For the prosperity of the village, for the inheritance of the will of fire. Sarutobi Hiruzen is worthy of being a spiritual leader. Just a few simple words have completely lifted the atmosphere of the audience to a new climax. In the crowd, the students, including Namikaze Minato, were almost all excited and eager to throw their heads and shed their blood. Yi Chen was also standing in the crowd, looking at Sarutobi Hiruzen, who was generously worded with emotion. Hokage, the children of this world, including Namikaze Minato, are all aiming for Sarutobi Hiruzen. Hokage is indeed out of reach, but Yi Chen knows that there are still many people above Hokage. The suspended Uchiha Madara, the Sage of 6 Paths, the Otsutsuki clan, and the Feather Cloth on the Moon, each of them has the existence beyond the cage level to destroy the world. Yi Chen clenched his fists with a hint of firmness and determination in his eyes. Sooner or later, he will surpass these existences and become the real king. Conqueror's Haki was born with the qualifications of a king. Since you came to this world, why not be arrogant and become a real king? This is Yi Chen's deepest ambition. After Sarutobi Hiruzen's speech, the students who participated in the competition were taken to 4 venues to start a duel. Yi Chen's first opponent was not a child of the Konoha clan, but an ordinary ninja with average strength. In this regard, he just punched and ended the fight. After all, he has killed one of elite Chunin, and what kind of turbulence can he make against a ninja student who has not graduated yet? One battle after another, every second kill, almost no extra second move, just neat. Some students directly abstained in the face of Yi Chen. This is simply too pervert, terrible physical skills, terrible power. Under Yi Chen's fist, these ninja students have no intention of resisting at all. Although Conquerors was not released for mental oppression, Yi Chen had already begun to develop an invincible appearance. The students who were there to watch the game, they faced Yi Chen. There are both envy and jealousy, and there are also many hostiles. They envy Yi Chen's strength, and the terrifying strange force continues. Even the Chunin examiner in the examination room expressed his admiration and appreciation for Yi Chen's strength and composure. Off the field, Kushina's beautiful eyes flickered, watching this scene with great excitement and happiness. As long as Yi Chen defeated those opponents, she would be happy from the bottom of her heart, waving her fists excitedly and cheering. Game 6, Yi Chen, win. As the examiner announced the results, the 5 battle venues Yi Chen had already ended the battle ahead of schedule. Become the uncrowned king of the first venue. All that's left to do is wait for the remaining 4 venues to wrap up the fight, screen out the 4 strongest, and then fight in the final 6th venue, which is Hokage and some Jonin watching. On the audience stage, the most central position, Sarutobi Hiruzen stood there overlooking the audience with 3 ninjas, Tsunade, Orochimaru, and Jiraiya. Yo, some ninjas have already ended the battle early, let me see who it is. Tsunade leaned on the armrest by the audience and looked down. Ha ha ha, needless to say. It must be Minato, he is my student Jiraiya values. Jiraiya laughed loudly, looking extremely cheerful. Not necessarily. Orochimaru's pale face revealed a sinister smile. Hey, that kid Yi Chen, it's really no surprise. Tsunade discovered Yi Chen, who walked out of the field through perception, and couldn't help but glance at his mouth. This stinky brat is really pulling. What, not Minato? Let me see. Jiraiya hurriedly approached the railing and looked down, because she nearly fell off the railing and fell off the audience stage because of too much force, almost making a fool of herself. What an idiot, Tsunade snarled. Yi Chen, what an interesting kid. Orochimaru sticks out his tongue and licks his lips slightly, smiling. As creepy as the dangerous lion majesty stretches out the snake apricot. Tsunade looked at his 2 non-human teammates, goosebumps all over his body, and his heart fluttered. After a series of competitions, the winners of the ninja competition 4 and 3 venues have been born. They are Namikaze Minato, Hyuga Mirror, Sunset Taichun, and Yi Chen. Except for Yi Chen, these 3 are basically the children of the Konoha clan, and they are talented penultimate. Namikaze Minato is a bit special, but he is a student favored by Sannin, so he is not weak in terms of background. Although Jiraiya has not achieved the name of Sannin at this time, standing behind Jiraiya as 3rd Hokage. So in a way, Namikaze Minato also has something to do with 3rd Hokage. Yi Chen, a child from another village, has no relatives or reasons, no background at all, and can only rely on himself. Let's draw lots. The examiner looked at the 4 and said lightly. The 4 of Yi Chen started to draw lots, and opened the lot in order. He looked at his opponent, Hyuga Mirror, a genius from the Hyuga family. So the last 2 matchups are out, Namikaze Minatov's Yuhi Taichun, Yi Chen vs Hyuga Kai. In the first game, Yi Chen vs Hyuga Mirror, please tie the seal of opposition, said the Chunin examiner. The seal of opposition is often used in the duel between ninjas, just like the salute before the battle of Chinese martial arts masters, showing respect as an opponent. Namikaze Minato, Oharu Yuhi goes off the field. Watch this showdown. Yi Chen and Hyuga Mirror formed the seal of opposition respectively, and then posed for battle. The audience is full of excitement. The strongest showdown in the ninja school competition is coming, who can't be excited? Come on, Yi Chen. Kushina shouted loudly, disregarding the eyes of those around her. By the way, I called a few younger brothers who I just received to cheer. And the most central suspended platform, 3rd Hokage and Tsunade, they are all there. It's good to be here. Facing the little genius of the Hyuga family, this Yi Chen is unlikely to win. Jiraiya glanced and said sourly. I still feel bad for Namikaze Minato, a student I value, who was stealing the limelight. Ha ha, Tsunade sneered. If Jiraiya knew that Yi Chen killed an elite Chunin alone, she wouldn't think so. Jiraiya, don't underestimate this child, maybe it will give us unexpected surprises. Orochimaru said slowly, with the signature sly smile on his face. 3rd Hokage didn't say anything. He knew everything about Yi Chen, and he was also very distressed. He seemed to be a problem student. On the field, a battle is about to start. Hyuga Mirror is a child of the branch house of the Hyuga family. Previously with Namikaze Minato, Uchiha Month was a genius of the same sequence. Your strength is not weak, beyond my expectations. But I am not that idiot Uchiha, in front of my eyes, your proud physique is useless. Hyuga said proudly. Her eyes opened, and with the eyes as the center, the meridians hidden under the surrounding skin burst out. The power of the white eyes spreads out, and invisible fluctuations affect the real world. In Hyuga's eyes, Yi Chen is no longer Yi Chen, his body's meridians are completely seen through, and even chakra's running route and some important body acupuncture points can be clearly seen. Through the direction of the meridian chakra, the Hyuga mirror can completely see through Yi Chen's movements. Sobian, like Sharingan, is the nemesis of all taijutsu ninjas. Moreover, the Hyuga family does not practice ninjutsu, but specializes in Hyuga Gentle Fist. In a sense, it is more powerful than Sharingan in dealing with taijutsu ninjas. Really, Yi Chen disagreed. How could he not know how powerful Bai Yan was, but so what? Everyone is waiting for this battle. Hyuga is a famous Konoha family, everyone is looking forward to what tactics Yi Chen will use to deal with it. What everyone didn't expect was that Yi Chen's fighting style was so simple as to be ultimate. There are no superfluous moves at all, nor any cumbersome process. Just one step forward and one punch. No matter what your name is Hyuga, Gentle Fist, I just need a punch. Armed color. Hardened. An iron fist blasted out, the air rioted, and there was a faint sound of thunderstorms. Yi Chen's fist turned black and iron, and smashed it with 1,000 strength. 8 trigrams 64 palms. Hyuga mirror poses in the same position to hold the moon in the sky, and step forward with her right foot in a bow shape. Immediately with it as the center, a huge 8 trigrams pattern appeared on the ground. This is only in the field of Gentle Fist. Generally entering this field, the strength of Hyuga ninjas is exponentially increased. I saw Hyuga slapped it out of the mirror, and responded with Yi Chen's punch. And through white-eye perspective, he can see the weakest part of Yi Chen's arm. The moment the two approached, Hyuga's body dodged like a snake, and turned her palm into a finger, poking at the weak acupoint on Yi Chen's arm. After so many duels, he couldn't see that Yi Chen possessed a strange power. How could he face him head-on? The reason for creating the illusion of such a frontal attack is to intercept Yi Chen's acupuncture points through the white eyes, so blocking the flow of chakra can naturally win the match easily. Successful. Hyuga's face couldn't help showing a look of joy. Naive. Yi Chen smiled disdainfully. The entire arm was instantly hardened, and the armed color armor was harder than steel. What was the point of mere acupuncture? Quote. As soon as he pointed at the acupuncture point on Yi Chen's arm, Hyuga Jing's face suddenly stiffened and his face twisted. He clearly pointed to the arm. How did he get the steel? Crack. A crisp bone-cracking sound came out. What? Then came a scream. The whole arena is silent. What happened? Why did Hyuga mirror scream? While you are sick, I will kill you. Yi Chen didn't hesitate, and for a split second, he got close to him at an extremely fast speed. He punched Hyuga's mirror in the stomach with a punch, and his punch exploded, making him lose his combat effectiveness. The whole process was smooth, and there was no delay at all. It simply doesn't look like a ninja school student can do it, but acts like an experienced ninja. Many students were amazed. Hyuga passed out on the ground. Judge Chunin took a deep look, and then said, Yi Chen wins. What happened? Jiraiya looked bewildered in the audience. Tsunade expressed that she was not surprised by this, but she was very calm when she saw this kid kill people and bury corpses with her own eyes. What a terrible ninja talent. Orochimaru couldn't help sighing, very interested in Yi Chen. The next fight is Namikaze Minato vs. Yuhi and Haru, both talented ninjas. Especially in the Great Spring of Yuhi, the Yuhi family is a big family of Konoha, and members of this family are good at illusion. Yuhi Oharu also mastered not weak illusions. Namikaze Minato fell into a hard fight, but in the end, he used his ninjutsu talent to forcibly unravel the past and win. After defeating Hyuga Mirror, a silver treasure chest suddenly appeared in the field. Of course, no one else could see the treasure chest, so Yi Chen took it out and left the arena to rest. In a corner of the arena, Yi Chen closed his eyes and adjusted his breath. Kushina said a lot of words excitedly, pretty blushing, excited. The younger brother behind her also shouted together, Boss Yi Chen is mighty. Boss Yi Chen, invincible. Boss Yi Chen, the most handsome. Unfortunately, Yi Chen was indifferent and opened the silver treasure chest from the system when he closed his eyes and adjusted his breath. This time he opened a card. Shaved, one of the Marine 6 styles. By stepping on the spot for more than a dozen times in a row, Grandmasters can move instantly, requiring strong physical fitness. All the profound meanings of shaving come to mind. Seeing the shave, Yi Chen couldn't help but think of the body flicker technique in Hokage. Body flicker technique is one of the most basic 3 body techniques, and it also has the effect of moving instantly. It's just that the low-level 3 body technique needs to be printed, and the instant body range is small, so it looks tasteless. And the advanced body flicker technique, such as the high-speed movement of instant body shisui, or the high-speed movement when Shaoli opened the 8 gate in the original book, can also be regarded as body flicker technique. Its foundation all relies on the strong physical fitness of the ninja itself. Yi Chen can't help but look forward to who is stronger or weaker when shaving meets body flicker technique. Comprehend shaving. With a thought, the shaving turned into a little brilliance and merged into Yi Chen's body, and all kinds of mysteries were clear in the chest. The essence of Marine 6 style shaving is the explosive result of human physical fitness, which is linked to physical strength. The higher the physical strength, the faster the shaving speed and the stronger the power. Click to open the panel. Host: Yi Chen. Abilities: Conqueror's Haki LV2, Observation Haki LV2, Armament Haki LV3, Tornado Profound Truth LV2, Shave LV1. 10,000 experience points are required to upgrade to the next level. Fruit: Mara Mara Fruit LV2, it takes 1000 experience to upgrade to the next level. Express: 420 10,000ths. Quote: Defeating the Hyuga mirror almost brought him close to 300 experience points, and there was still 100 left before, plus the daily automatic upgrade experience was already 420. Upgrade Marine 6 styles, Yi Chen said silently. The experience value is automatically reduced by 100, and Shao is upgraded to LV2. Compared with the shaving of level 1, the teleportation range of shaving of level 2 is almost within a radius of 20 meters. And faster and more explosive. But here is the world of Hokage, and the basis for shaving is still chakra, the same as the body flicker technique. That is to say, chakra is sufficient to release shaving indefinitely, but there is a limit on the body. It's a huge burden for physical fitness. No matter what the result is, it's a good thing for Yi Chen. He woke up from his deep thoughts. Namikaze Minato had ended the battle on the field. Obviously, it was not easy to deal with the ninja Oharu Yuhi, who was good at illusion. After the end of the game, eat the food pill to quickly recover chakra in order to return to the peak state as quickly as possible. Time passed slowly, and after about a few dozen breaths, Namikaze Minato said to the Chunin examiner. Lord Examiner, I'm all right. Examiner Chunin stared at Namikaze Minato and confirmed again. You don't need to recover for a while. Thank you, teacher. The last game was actually an illusion duel, and chakra didn't consume much. Namikaze Minato showed a signature healing smile on his face. All right then. Examiner Chunin said no more, then announced. The last round of the Yi Chen matchup with Namikaze Minato is about to begin, please prepare ninjas. Oh, the last duel ignited the atmosphere of the entire ninja school, and all teachers and students were looking forward to this match. Amid all the attention, Yi Chen walked to the final venue and came to Namikaze Minato. I really didn't expect this kid to be able to reach the end, but it must not be Minato's opponent. Jiraiya said confidently, having high expectations for Minato. Don't look at Minato still studying at the ninja school, but his strength has reached the level of Chunin. It's just a lack of experience and a young age to stay in school and study. Cut, you're overconfident, Tsunade said, clasping his arms around the great chest, staring at Yi Chen meaningfully. Tsunade, you seem to have a lot of confidence in Yi Chen. His magical power is very similar to yours, Orochimaru said without being too big of a deal. I'm going, I didn't expect, Tsunade, you won't teach this little ghost powers secretly behind our backs, right? I said why this kid is so evil, you're not being kind. Jiraiya pointed at Tsunade and said loudly, seeming very annoyed. Fool, idiot. Hearing this, Tsunade frowned, grabbed Jiraiya's arm with one hand and twisted it hard. With just a click, sound, Jiraiya's arm was dislocated, and her facial expressions were extremely rich, with tears streaming down her face. I don't have the kung fu to teach this nasty trash, Orochimaru, don't fan the flames. Orochimaru was silent, watching Jiraiya's miserable appearance, and drifting back a few steps. At this time, Sannin has not experienced the Second Ninja War, has not seen a brutal war, and his mood has not changed. In friendship, it is still very iron. Orochimaru in particular, this timeline looks a bit pervert and spooky on the surface. But there is absolutely no pervert in the mainland. Tsunade's younger brother Nawaki is still a student of Orochimaru. Woo! After being slashed by Tsunade, Jiraiya silently hid in the corner and licked her wound. OMG, Tsunade is still so violent, who would dare to play in the future? Third Hokage watched all this with a kind smile on his not-so-old face. They are the future of Konoha, the pillars of Konoha. Konoha will be handed over to them sooner or later. I hope their friendship will last forever. On the field, Namikaze Minato first showed a kind smile to Yi-Chen and said, Yi-Chen-kun, it's an honor to play against you. I knew you were not an ordinary person. I'm honored too, Minato. Yi-Chen replied. Maybe Namikaze Minato is a little more normal in the whole Konoha, and he can be regarded as a positive energy boy. And just because he finally sacrificed himself for Konoha to seal 9 tails, this kind of fearless spirit is worthy of his honor. It can be said that Minato should be the youngest Hokage in Konoha history. Of course, respect is respect. Yi-Chen would not choose to do this. When the examiner saw the two talking, he couldn't help but say, Are you all ready? Yeah. Yi-Chen and Namikaze Minato responded at the same time. Yi-Chen, beat him. Outside the court, Kushina continued to cheer for Yi-Chen without anyone else. This makes Yi-Chen feel strange to hear this. Namikaze Minato is also embarrassed. The final battle of the ninja competition begins. Inspector Chunin shouted, announcing the start of the competition. The first battle about ninja school begins here. To show respect for Namikaze Minato, the future Hokage. At the moment when the duel started, Yi-Chen didn't have any intention of holding back his hands. He immediately used full speed, rushed towards Namikaze Minato, and punched him with one punch. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.